Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome on into a DFS strategy video for the 2026 American Express. My name is Eric, and I'm here with SweetSpotDFS to go over everything you're going to need to know on how to target the optimal lineup this week. If you don't already know, I like to go over the course and tournament, pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. I like to get into the bucket system, which is unique to this channel, unique to the SweetSpotDFS brand. And then get into the Marquee Tee Times, because all of those pieces help us narrow down which golfers we want to play this week. So that's what you can expect. Now, before I get into all of those segments, just a little reminder for all those people out there, I like to do giveaways. And I always do a weekly giveaway, which I give away $5. All you need to do is be subscribed to the channel and then also participate on the channel. And one way you can do that is through roll calls or commenting on any of the videos that I post throughout the week. If you post on any of those videos, you'll get an additional entry during all these roll calls, which I'm going to try to do at the 1 hour mark all the time. If you're here for those, awesome. You get an additional entry for each time you're here for a roll call. It's kind of my way to reward you guys for really participation or participating and just watching the videos for as long as you are. Or you can just remember to chime in every 1 hour and then, yeah, you get entries that way. But again, comment on any of the videos and I'll get you a, let me rephrase that. Comment once this goes into replay. So here live, it is very difficult for me to keep track of everybody who's commenting. And again, just a reminder, this is a live video. So I will be looking at the chat, talking to the chat, saying hi to Joanne and John who are in the chat right now. Good evening to you guys. But yes, this is live. So when it goes on replay, if you comment down below, you'll get an entry into, again, this giveaway. And I'm also doing monthly giveaways, which is a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, which I will be using throughout this entire video. You will see all the tools that I have, and I am just constantly building new tools. I will showcase one of the new tools that it's about to get out there soon. Almost done, not quite, almost done. But yes, I will showcase as many tools as I possibly can to get ourselves an edge this week. And that kind of goes me, that leads into the next giveaway that I have. I have a $1,000 SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway that I'm running. Basically, to get into this entry, you need to have an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. It's free. You do not have to put any money into it if you don't want to. Go sign up if you haven't. There is a link in the description. Go click on the link, create yourself an account. You're automatically entered because I use the email address that you sign up with to put that into a drawing, and then whoever wins, I will email you saying you won, and then it just depends on what giveaway that you win. There's a lifetime membership to the website that I'm giving out. That's a $600 value. An annual membership, that's a $200 value, and then 2 $100 cash giveaways. So if you are like, I don't really need another website, you know, whatever, if you want some cash, you can win some cash. So this is available to you guys. Go sign up at SweetSpotDFS.com. And then once this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, that is when I will run the giveaway. We are at 868 subscribers currently. So we have a, you know, we're getting closer. Let's put it that way. And maybe by the Masters, we can get to 1,000. So I might be able to run a $1,000 giveaway then. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So help out if you're not yet subscribed. Also, one other thing that I forgot to mention last week that I keep forgetting. If this video reaches 25 likes, I will give away 5 memberships to this YouTube channel. Now, if you're wondering what do you get with that? Well, one thing's this. I build lineups at the end of this video, at the end of every strategy video. I'm only going to run lineups for those that are members to the chat, to this channel. I have a very affordable monthly fee of $199. That's the red tier. So if you want to go, join and get lineups built for you at the end of these videos, all you gotta do is pay $199 a month. That's it. I also live stream Wednesday nights just to members. And that is a very personal live stream that you get to see everything that I've learned throughout the week, all the things that I've dug into, and then my lineup strategies even furthermore than this video. You can see that Wednesday night. There you have to be a white tier member and above. So that's $4.99 a month. And also, if you pay $4.99 a month, I will take that off of your monthly subscription to SweetSpotDFS.com. So if you spend $5 on YouTube to be a monthly member here, I will knock off $5 from the monthly subscription. That way, you don't ever have to pay more than $20 a month to enjoy everything that comes along with SweetSpot DFS. So those are your choices. I forgot to mention that last week. And I am sorry for the huge laundry list of things, but I always want to keep you guys informed as to all the benefits that you can get and any of the giveaways that are out there for you to have. So now that I've said all of that, let's go ahead and get into a giveaway from last week. These are all the, see, you can't really see on the screen. These are all the giveaways that I am currently doing, or the weekly subscriber giveaways from last week. We had 30 total entries. Let me zoom in, I guess. Let's do that. Maybe that'll be easier to look at. Yeah, that's fine. All right, 30 total entries. I don't think I have my drum roll ready. Let's see. Do we? Oh, we do. Phil Smart. Phil, whenever you come into the channel, you have won $5. So I need some... You need to let me know where to send that money. So email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com or contact me through X, whatever. However it works for you, let me know. You won $5, so congratulations to Phil Smart. Okay. Now we will remove all of these entries. Actually, hold on. Wait a minute. I forgot to add these to the monthly giveaway. Remember, all of your weekly giveaways go into the monthly giveaways. All your entries, that is. So, there we go. All right. Let's, well, first of all, let me acknowledge chat, and then we'll get into the strategy video. Already said hi to John and Joanne, but I see CG is in there as well. What's going on, man? Nice to see you. Hope all is well. Let's hit the sweet spot. Yes, let's hit the sweet spot. All right. Now we got all that covered. Let's get into the first piece of information, which is the golf course and tournament information. So at SweetSpotDFS.com, what you can do is go to the golf course stats page. And from here, I already have the American Express loaded in for the tournament. If it isn't for you, go ahead and do that. Under this dropdown for select course, you're going to see 3 golf courses. We are at that time of year, that time of the season where we have multiple golf courses being used for a tournament, which means every golfer in the field will play each of these courses before a cut is made. So there are 3 golf courses. That means there are 3 rounds of golf. So there will be a cut after 54 holes, and then everybody else will be playing the Pete Dye Stadium course, those that make the cut, that is. So you can cycle through this, and you can see all of the types of grass. Of course, it is overseed. I forget. Okay, we'll talk about that here shortly. But we can see the type of grass that's used, the fairway length, the green length. If you want to see some additional information, I have each hole mapped out down below. So you will be able to see the yardages for each of the golf courses. And that is a lie. I forgot to update 2026. Is 2025 updated? No, it's not. I'm gonna have to go back in there. That's the stadium course that's loaded in. I'm talking about the holes down here, the pars, the yardages. I need to fix that. So my apologies. I'm wondering why it's not showing up. I know I've updated it. Anyways, I'll have to update that. Maybe I'll do that right after this video is done. But you can come through at least for the Pete Dye Stadium course. This is all the information that you're going to need. So you can check it out here. Main thing that I wanted to get across for the golf courses that are being used this week, and also the tournament that is being played. Again, obviously the 3 golf courses, the cut after 54 holes. This golf course is played in the Palm Springs area. La Quinta is technically the desert town, the desert city that this is all being played in, but everybody knows that area as the Coachella Valley or just the Palm Springs area. So what you need to know there, very little wind. The entire area is in a valley, and it is heavily protected by the mountains. Very rarely does wind come through the mountains. Sometimes in certain directions it does, and it gets pretty windy, but most of the time you don't have to worry about wind, and during this time of the year you don't have to worry about wind. Another thing, everything on this golf course is overseeded. On all 3 golf courses are overseeded, or they let the rough go dormant. So at PGA West, that's what they do. That's where you get that brown color in the rough. That is such a brittle grass that anybody hitting golf balls out of that, there is a bit of a trick to it because you can get flyers that come out of there and they come out really hot, but no one is going to have issues hitting out of the rough. It's not thick whatsoever. Like I said, it's brittle. The grass is thin. It's almost just like, what's the point of rough? You know, there can be some bare areas. I remember Patrick Cantlay back in like 2022, 2021, something like that. He found one of the patches of either leftover overseed or maybe the Bermuda was kind of growing through. It was a little green patch that was in the rough, and it was so soggy and wet that he had to hit a little chip shot. He chunked the first shot and then he chipped in with the second shot. And he almost went on to win that tournament, but he didn't. But there could be certain lies that are like that, but more like, I only mention that just to say there could be one-offs, but more often than not, the rough here, super easy to hit out of. I used to live here. I used to work at the golf courses that are, I shouldn't say, I never worked at PGA West, but I worked at a golf course near PGA West and was able to get on, watch this tournament for free. So I've played one of the PGA West courses. I don't remember which one. I don't think it was the Pete Dye course. I think I would have remembered it. They have a few there. I think they have 5 golf courses. I don't remember which one. But anyways, yeah, it's easy golf. Like, they're gonna say it's dome. Most people are gonna say this is dome golf and stuff like that. And that is true. So here's the thing. I've always said this about golf course previews. I don't really care about hole by hole, you know, flyovers or stuff like, well, flyovers are nice, but when people in my position do these golf course breakdowns, what's the point if there isn't a payoff? Here's my payoff to you guys. The grass is ryegrass. It's an overseeded ryegrass all over the place. You can treat it as ryegrass or you can treat it as bent grass. Now, what you can do with those things, when you go to any of the tools on SweetSpotDFS.com and you go down to the grass filter, you can actually filter out by whatever grass that you want to look at. Whether it's ryegrass on the greens, which I would say go ahead and use ryegrass on the greens. You're going to find a lot of desert golf. So WM Phoenix Open and the American Express. Those are going to be your 2 events, basically. So if you want to see how golfers tend to do at these places, you could use this round by round tool and go in and put the grass filters there. If you want to look at strokes gain stats, I have a strokes gain stats page, which if you go into here and you apply those filters, you can see the exact same thing. If I put that down, these will get updated, and then you can do your sorts to see which golfers are the best on ryegrass greens. The other thing that I would probably say you can use, or the other payoff that I'm going to mention, bombers. I understand that bombers aren't really being talked about at this golf course, but because the rough isn't that penal, there's water at the stadium course and the Nicklaus course. Like there's a little bit of water there at the Nicklaus course, more water at the stadium course. La Quinta has no water. It is, I mean, it's a bit more, it's a tighter golf course than the other two, but it's shorter. I'm almost positive it's shorter. I guess I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember walking that golf course going, I could play this golf course. Like this would be easy. I remember watching Matt Kuchar, of all players, hit a drive up to one of the holes. He was like 40 yards out and duff his chip. He duffed his chip. It was back when like Chucky 3-6, Charles Howell III was playing. It was in that group that he was playing with. So whatever tournament that was or whatever year would have been like 2011, 2010, maybe 2012, somewhere back then. I just remember if Matt Kuchar could get close to the greens on some of these par fours, yeah, bombers probably would have a pretty good chance to drive some of the greens or get really, really close. So, and it could have been the tee boxes they selected. I don't know. I don't know how he got that close. I just remember he had an eagle chip from 40 yards. I was excited about it. And then he kind of stunk it up. So anyways, yeah, bombers. That's my other payoff. I think bombers are a great choice to play. It's not necessary. Don't get me wrong. That's not necessary. But I do think like a Michael Brennan, like I just got done listening to one of the Pat Mayo podcasts where he was with Alex Blickel and they were talking about Brennan. And it's like, oh, no, not at this golf course. No, whatever. It's like, yeah, no, I would actually play him at this golf course. This is a really good golf course for Michael Brennan. A really good golf course for Michael Brennan. And he's cheap this week. So those are my two payoffs for you. Not a lot. Don't get me wrong. Not a lot. But yeah, 156 golfers in the field. Let me show you one of the tools that I have that I'm working on that I haven't quite been able to finish. I mean, this last week, I went up north for the weekend, hang out with some friends. And then I never really was able to continue building on the tools that I have. But one of the tools that I'm currently working on is a tournament course information type of tool, which does not have this week's tournament in it. Dang it. I was going to show you the strength of field. This is a tool that I'll be able to showcase field size, strength of field, all that stuff. But I think, yeah, you know what? I guess I'm not prepared to show it to you guys. I'm showing you this. This is just a bare bones look at it. But this is pretty much the information you're going to get in it. The strength of field's pretty large. It is 592, if I recall. Let me pull something up really quick. I'm very curious what I have as the strength of field. 542. It's 542. So the strength of field's pretty good. If I compare that to previous years. So last year, our strength of field was 381. The year before that was 437. Scotty Scheffler did not play in either of those years. 2023 was 400, and he did play in that one. 2022, 321. So this is the highest it's been in a hot minute. 542. I think this is going to say it's a little higher, but don't go by this one. That says 559. 542. Strength of field's large, very large. So take that into account. You can use that as a filter on SweetSpotDFS.com as well. If you go to the tournament stats filter and you come down here to the strength of field old, 542. So if I put 600 in, like, let's go 450 to 600. That's what I'm going to go with. 450 to 600. You'll get the strength of field, and then you can see, oh, I still have the grass stats in there. And you wanted to look at a particular golfer. I'm going to choose Scotty. We look at Scotty and these types of strength of fields. Pretty darn good. 23 total events, 47, a 50%, pretty much a 50% top 5 rate, by the way. 60% top 10 rate. 20 top 20 is 75% clip almost, and then he has missed the cut. But if I were to look at the last 2 years only, average finishing position is 6th, and he has 6 total events where he is 83% top 5, 83% top 10. There are 2 tour championships in there, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah. I went back to 2023. We still don't have a missed cut. We have even a higher top 10 rate, by the way. Still another tour championship and a WM Phoenix Open gets in there. Or I should look down here. Charles Schwab and Century. So anyways, things to look for. But yeah, that's all I have for the course and tournament information. What is going on, Byron Lindeque? Nice to see you, buddy. As I go throughout all of this, you guys are more than welcome to leave questions in the chat. But that is the end of the course and tournament information segment. Let's move on to pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. So there is a question that is out there. Let me actually go back to the cheat sheet, which I forgot to mention. You guys can access the cheat sheet for free if you go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go down to the cheat sheet, click on that. You'll come to this page. You can either use this cheat sheet or you can scroll down here and use the spreadsheet that I have. I told you guys I'm going to get off the spreadsheet soon. Currently still have to do it because I don't have one of the tools updated that is going to really change things for me. I'm going to showcase that right now. I'm working on another cheat sheet. And basically what we're going to get is exactly what you see on the Google Sheets, on the spreadsheets. So basically I'm going to have all these buttons up here that you can drill down in, and you're going to be able to have different tables to look at. So this one is the course history table to look at, which it'll go back and it'll show you all the finishes going back to 2013 all the way up to the present day pretty much. It will give you, hate when that happens. It will give you the average course history to this day, and then you get some bucket information over here. I will also have a recent form table. So if you were to click to recent form, this one will show, and it'll show you the last 7 weeks of finishes. And then I'll also have a strokes gain table that you can look at. So if you wanted to go back, you know, looking at 365 days worth of strokes gain data leading into this event, you could click that. If you wanted to look at the last 7 weeks, you could click on that. If you wanted to look at last week's strokes gain data, which I don't have color coded just yet, you could do that. So I'll have all these buttons up here, and then I'm also going to have additional buttons to give you like golfer information, all that good stuff. So this will be kind of the updated cheat sheet once I, you know, finish it. This is what I've been working on, getting this one done. So yeah, that will actually replace the cheat sheet that I was just showing you guys, which is right here. This is kind of the old school cheat sheet. But again, you can use this one. You can use the Google sheet that I've provided, and I will be also going through that as well. So the question that I was, you know, getting to in the beginning of this is, Can you play a lineup with Scotty Scheffler in it? Like a competitive lineup. $14,200. Scotty Scheffler. Can you do it? Well, at SweetSpotDFS.com, I've got some really good tools that can figure that out. So I have not only this historic salary builds tool, which again, you can find under historic salary builds. I also have this pass optimal and GPP winner tool. Both of these are going to get whatever you're looking for done. So if I go here to historic salary builds, I can go ahead and drill into this fantasy stats filter up here. And up here, we can determine the most expensive golfer that we want, the highest priced golfer. If we change this to 13,500 and then change this, the max, to 14,500, because that's kind of where Scotty, he kind of lives within 14,500. And then we get rid of this. We're going to see that there's 6 total lineups that have a price tag like this. And you can guarantee you that Scotty Scheffler was a part of both of them, or all of them, I should say. He should also be here for the PGA Championship. Why is he not showing up? Was he just cheaper? Was he actually more? Ooh, he might have been more. Let me go in here and let me just actually bump this all the way up to 15,200. That didn't do it. I'm very confused. This last PGA Championship, what was Scotty's price tag? I thought it was 14,000. Was it not? Oh, he was 13,400. So he just barely misses what I had put in there. All right, let's change that then to 13,400. Okay, now it opens up to 12 lineups. And the purpose of this is to basically show you guys what kind of lineups. If you were going to choose Scotty Scheffler, what lineups can you build and should you build? So the very first thing that I'm going to point out, most people think that starting a lineup with Scotty Scheffler at 14,000, you just automatically have to drop down into the 7K range. But what I'm going to show you here is, you know, if you drill down on any of these lineups, you're going to be able to see what the max salary was as well as the min salary. Now, there are going to be some times where there's $5,200. So we don't have that this week. Probably ignore that. And in fact, I think I'm going to select, here's a little thing you can do. We can select all the tournaments and then go to the tour and take the tour championship out. And therefore, we don't have to look at the tour championship. We actually remove 2 records from our list. So you can go ahead and drill into these and see which tournaments that these lineups appear. So if I do this 10-8-7 with 3 6s, we come down here and we can see it's the Charles Schwab Challenge. And then we can go to this page here, the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups, and go ahead and put in the 2025 Charles Schwab Challenge. And then depending on what lineup you want to look at, if we look at the GPP winning lineup, you can see Scotty Scheffler finished 4th place, by the way, 4th, and was in the GPP winning lineup at 13,700. That's $500 cheaper than he is priced this week, but it still gives you an idea of how to build your lineups. So 13,700, it actually went down to Ben Griffin at 8,700, and then a high-priced 7K golfer in Bud Cauley, and then it dropped down in the 6K range with only one low-end 6K golfer. But maybe that doesn't, maybe we don't really, that doesn't qualify for what we're looking at. We can bump up this price. We can certainly do that. So 13,400, let's bump it up to 13,600. And that way we can get rid of kind of the low priced Scotty. And so you can see here, we have a 14,200 at the Open Championship, a 14,400. The GPP winner, by the way, at the US Open, the one that JJ Spawn won, had Scotty Scheffler in there at 14,004. So let's look at those. Let's look at those lineups. So we'll go US Open. We're on the GPP winner. Scotty Scheffler at 14,004. So here it goes. 14,4, 85, 71, 67, 67, 66. So 3 6K golfers. That's pretty common, right? The next one we want to look at is the Open Championship. All 3 lineups had Scotty in it, including the optimal, and he obviously won at 14,200. Now this one does drop it down into the 7K range. 14.2, 7.9, 7.8, 6.9, 6.4, and 6.4. Look at the names here. This is something that we can actually use this week because Goddard up at 6,900. That's a good name. English 6,400, proven winner, and Harry Hall, 28th place, not great, but if I went to the SweetSpot optimal instead, oh, we dropped down in the 5K range. Okay, so that doesn't really help my case right now. We can look at, oh yeah. I'd have to recalibrate these golfers because when there's a 5K range, I still treat them as a 6K golfer, and some of these 6K golfers I treat as a 7K golfer. So I'd have to do that over again and try to figure out where exactly I would put these price tags, I suppose. Whatever. Here's the thing I'm getting at. So if you started with Scotty and then you went down to the 8K range or you went to the 7K range, how viable is the 6K range? When I first made a lineup, I excluded Scotty from my lineup. I'm like 14,200. I looked at the 8K range and I absolutely hated the 8K range. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of JT Poston, Jason Day, Davis Thompson, Min-Woo Lee, Ricky Fowler. Maybe Rasmus is okay. I am a fan of Michael Thorbjornsen, but this is going to be a long round of golf for these guys, and I feel like the schmoozers, it's a pro-am. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. This is a pro-am with the CEOs of companies. This isn't so much a celebrity pro-am, although I bet you there's a couple that are going to be in there. But this is mostly CEOs or owners of businesses that are going to be in this tournament as the pro-am partners with these golfers. I'm not a huge fan of young kids being in this type of event because, well, I shouldn't say that. I think youth can actually be a good thing here because of just being naive and, like not really knowing who your business, I say business partner, but the pro-am partner is. You have no idea what kind of conversations you're going to have. Being that young, you're probably not that connected to that pro-am partner. Maybe they'll try to talk business with you and you have no idea what they're talking about, and that kind of thing will actually help you. Whereas like a Patrick Cantlay will eat that shit up. Patrick Cantlay is the ultimate schmoozer, honestly. He is going to be rubbing elbows with these guys, talking business the whole time and just eating it up. That's why Patrick Cantlay, in my opinion, plays this tournament so well, is because there is a financial aspect outside of golf for him. This is just perfect. He gets to impress his business partners or impress the business people that are there to try to help with investments or getting in, whatever. Whereas like, I don't know, there's some golfers that just don't have the patience for it. And I don't know where Michael Thorbjornsen lives within all that. So I kind of like old, wily veterans a little bit more than I like the younger guys at this golf course for multiple reasons. It's an easier golf course for them to play on, the older guys, that is. And yeah, you're going to be playing with pro-am partners that are closer to your age. Whereas these younger guys are going to be playing with pro-am partners they have nothing in common with. And they might be listening to people talking about business the entire time and just being, some of this stuff can throw you off your game. Some of it can. And it doesn't matter if these are PGA Tour players. I'll argue with anybody about that. PGA Tour players are a lot like us when it comes to mentality. So I do like Michael Thorbjornsen's skill. Don't get me wrong. Love his skill. I just don't know how he's going to react. He obviously has a missed cut here already. I don't know if that's any good for him. But anyways, the 8K range looks disgusting to me. Noren, sure. Penrith, sure. Sure. I'm not sold on any of these guys playing this event. Siwoo Kim, kind of love it because he doesn't speak much English and he's just to himself all the time. I would have said this last year. Sepp Straka doesn't actually fit the mold. I think he's a very antsy type of golfer. Like if you watch him golf, he seems pretty quick to golf, but he won this event last year. That didn't really improve his course history. If you look at it, 44.8 with a victory, that means he doesn't play this event that well, mostly. But maybe that's just a different type of golfer that he was. You never know. You never know. Sometimes you need these narratives in order to skip out on some of these golfers. So when I look, again, this is the whole purpose. When I look at the 8K range, I don't like it. And that made me feel like this field was just awful. But if I scroll down, the 7K range is littered with good golfers. I'm a huge fan of Pearson Coody. I know there's that youth thing I just talked about with Thorbjornsen. That same thing can apply to Pearson Coody. But there's something, I mean, if we're going to joke like how Pat Mayo jokes about Pearson Coody and having his dad pay for everything, if Pearson Coody's already used to being around rich people, oh, he's going to fit in perfectly golfing with these guys. Again, that's a narrative. That's not a proven thing. It's just it's something you can get behind. Some of these other guys, though, I mean, like Justin Rose, perfect. He's an old timer. He's going to be rubbing elbows with these guys. Danny Berger, same thing. I like him. Nick Taylor, same thing. Zalatoris, you know, $7,600 is kind of if we're being honest, it's when we look at some of these other golfers with their price tags down below, this might be a bit high for Zalatoris for coming back from injury. So if you want to take a chance on Zalatoris, all the better. All the better. Kevin Hughes coming back from a withdrawal. No idea why he withdrew last week. Wyndham Clark, yeah, not bad. Same with my, you know, like I said, these are good names. Max Grazerman. I'm a huge fan of Max Grazerman. Love it. This could actually be one of the events Denny McCarthy wins. Because it's not that long of the golf courses being played aren't that long. Denny McCarthy could have a shot. Huge fan of Max Homa this year. I think Max Homa, I said this before with Byron in a podcast. I think Max Homa I think he wins twice this year. This could be one of those tournaments. Not very good course history, but I don't mind Max Homa at a course like this. Love Sam Stevens, love Semi Valimaki. Emiliano Grillo, same thing. Like, so the 7K range, Andrew Novak is criminally priced. 7,200. This guy makes birdies in bunches. I like Novak quite a bit, and I like Whaley as well. So there's a bunch of golfers here, but then that's not it. We go on the 6K range. I guess we're not quite there yet. Aldrich Potgieter, sign me up. I want him in as many lineups as I possibly can. Matt Kuchar, this is a tournament he still can play well at. Gary Woodland, same thing. Nico Echeverria missed a cut and goes down to $6,900 from what, 87 last week? Sign me up. Chris Kirk, same thing. Mac Meisner, yep. I don't mind going back to Eckroat. Last week was windy. Things can happen. Billy Horschel's a good, like, so all of these golfers, Michael Brennan at 6,700, I think is criminally priced. Luke Clanton, Bud Cauley, by the way. So that tool that I was kind of showcasing earlier, I was staring at this quite a bit. So if I bring back the course history thing, let me zoom in for you guys. And then try to get rid of this. If I scroll down to Bud Cauley, what was he, $6,700? Bud Cauley right here, 34.57 is his course history. Didn't play last year or the last few years. But if I scroll and look at all of his course history, so I suppose I need to scroll down just a little bit more. Okay, so here's Bud Cauley right here. In 2020, got a 4th place finish. I scroll over, he had a 14th, a 3rd, a 14th, 2 missed cuts, by the way, and a 37th. So that's Bud Cauley. Bud Cauley at $6,700. Good course history. Hadn't played in forever. This tournament, that is. So yeah, that seems like a misprice. And then if we continue going down, Dan Brown has been talked about. I think he's a great talent. I like him this year. I'm not gonna, Sam Ryder seems like a desert rat. Like he plays really well on desert golf courses. WM Phoenix Open, like I don't mind that. Tom Hoagie, maybe turn things around. Like I don't mind Tom Hoagie at this golf course. Coming down a little bit more, Andrew Putnam, sign me up. I could even get behind Cam Davis, despite, you know, missing the cut last week and just being down here. Yep, that's fine. If I scroll down just a little bit more, we get the assassin, Rio Assassine. Love him. Like at a golf course like this. Brian Campbell's down here. Brian Campbell was in the SweetSpot Optimal last week. A lot of people, no, he wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong person. Wrong person. Never mind. There was one other golfer down here, and maybe it was him, and I just mistaken him from someone else. Yeah, that was probably it. I probably mistaken him. Okay. Anyways, so I say all of that to tell you the 7 and 6K range is more attractive to me than the 8 and 9K range. I mean, the 9K golfers are actually really good. I do like the 9K golfers, but it is either, if you do play Scotty Scheffler, feel comfortable in choosing those 7 and 6K golfers. And if you do, like we were just going over with the historic salary builds, other than which one was this? This was the US Open. And it had 6K golfers in it. And it shows 4 7s. So let me actually pull that one up. I need a better way to show this. Because I did do the conversions from the 6K golfers to 7, like they would normally be 7. So technically, it was 14 into an 85 to 71 and 3 6K golfers. If I go back to this, most of these are going to have 3 6K golfers that you need to put in your lineup. The Open Championship. Let's take a look at that again. I know this is confusing to people that haven't really been here before. What I'll do during tournaments that have 5K ranges is I will actually convert all of the golfers' prices to traditional salaries, and then that's how I'll look at the golfers, because you're going to be able to put those golfers together in lineups. I don't like to try to be tricked by DraftKings into thinking, you know, some golfers are way too expensive, some golfers are too cheap or whatever. But like this lineup here is a 10-9, 3 7s and a 6, I think, right? Let me double check. 2 7s and 2 6s. Okay. So the 2 6s, 6,457. But these would be like 2 7s. But as you can see, that's 4 6K golfers. I don't think we have more 6K golfers in the field this week than we typically do at a American Express. So I wouldn't go for 6K golfers. I would stick to 3. But if you could fit in a 9K golfer into, actually, let's do this right now. I'm really curious. All right, I'm going to go like this. We're going to go 14K golfer, and let's put in just a 9K. Let's put in Sepp Straka. Actually, no, I'm going to put in Matt Fitzpatrick. I want to see a 95. You know what? I'm going to put in Sam Burns. I just want to see if the optimizer can make a lineup with these. And it can. It puts in 4 6K golfers. I forgot to put in. That's okay. I'm actually happy that this happened. I forgot to put in the conditionals, which I'll do before we start building lineups. But I forgot to put in the SweetSpot conditionals, which is, like I said, A-okay. It did put 4 6K golfers in. And guess what? What I tell you guys, these are some of the names that I'm okay with. Michael Brennan, absolutely. Bud Cauley, absolutely. Putnam and Hisatsune. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. Let's see what the next one looks like. Kensei Harada, don't really care for that. Don't care for that at all. Isaiah Salinda, sure. I'm getting those same 4 golfers, which is fine. We get the Seagull in that one. Chad Ramey is fine. I gotta get Rio out of there. Rio's just gonna continue. He's just he still has such good stats from last year that he's popping in my model. So if we do that, we get rid of him. We get a Taylor Moore and Zach Johnson. So is ZJ spotting? Danny Walker, the Day Walker with Mark Hubbard. Brian Campbell with Taylor Moore. Now we're kind of getting into fishy lineups, but this is with a $9,800 Sam Burns. So I'm kind of okay with that to some extent. Like I said, I forgot to put the conditionals in. So we'll revisit this when we get to building lineups a little bit later in the stream. But it's definitely doable. There's still high quality lineups that you can build. This is the thing. Price tags make people feel uncomfortable about certain players. Like Michael Brennan should be a 7K golfer. I'm not even going to look at him like a 6K golfer. To me, he's a 7K golfer. And then there's some other guys down there that I can't think off the top of my head. Let's see. If I go to this cheat sheet and we go down to the 6K range, who else do I think would be a 7K golfer? So far, everybody looks like a 6K. I would say Michael Brennan should be a 7K. Finau and Tom Kim should be, just by historical results and stuff like that, they should be 7K golfers, and they're not. But obviously, they deserve to be down here because of how bad they've played. Yeah, and everybody else should just be a 6K golfer. So, never mind. Just Michael Brennan's the only guy that I think should be a 7K golfer that is not. So, I think that's basically all I have to say about kind of what to do with Scottie Scheffler this week. Now, if you wanted to come to this or to these tools and just kind of basically just look only at the American Express, you certainly can do that. I don't think there's an issue doing that whatsoever. You would just select the tournament in here and put the American Express, and then you can see all the different lineups. Oh, I have a filter on there. Sorry about that. Let me clear out all the filters and put in the American Express again. There we go. So now we can see the most common lineup builds, which the top one is a 10-9-8, 7-6-6, followed by a 10-9, 3-7s and a 6, followed by a 10-9-8, 7-7-6, which is usually the common lineup build I tell you guys to start out with. 10-9-8, 7-7-6. And then you can just see a bunch of them that have, you know, just one golfer in. If you look at this over here on the side, all of them start with a 10K golfer. In fact, 91% of the lineups that I have recorded, remember I record a GPP winning lineup, an optimal lineup, and a SweetSpot optimal for every year that I can, every year that I have salaries and DK points for. 91% of lineups start with a 10K golfer. And then nearly 75% have a 9K golfer, whereas 50% have an 8K golfer. And I don't know what that is. I'm not looking at the golfers that are 8K golfers. We can do that later. But for whatever reason, 10K golfers reign supreme. Then it goes into 9s and then 7s. Actually, 10s and 7s. Those are your main. Your two main salaries to build your lineups around. And of course, if you want to even dive into each of these lineups, all you would do is go to this past optimal and GPP winners, winning lineups page, I should say, and just put in the American Express here. So put in the American Express, and then you can go whatever lineup, choose your lineup down here. If you want to look at all the GPP winners for the last, you know, I think 6 years, you can see how many points that they scored. You can actually look now at how much total ownership those lineups had. This was a suggestion by one of the founding members, one of the lifetime members, which you guys can still become if you want. Go to the home page. I'll show you guys. Go to the home page, scroll down to the bottom or go to your account. You can change it. You can come down here and founding member. The one-time purchase, for as long as I have this website up and running, you will have access to everything. So that is available to you guys. But yeah, one of the lifetime members told me or asked me to add total ownership, and so therefore I did. So you can take a look at that. You can see how many points were scored. Just go through each of the years, look at the types of lineups that were built. You know, which golfers did they include? Xander and JT back in 2024. In 2023, it was John Rahm at $10,800 with two AK golfers. Taylor Montgomery and Adam Hadwin. Taylor Montgomery, $8,900. That's crazy. In 2022, you had John Rahm, who finished 14th. This was your GPP winner. So you're going to have some flexibility. It's really going to come down to birdies scored because, again, everybody's guaranteed 3 rounds that doesn't withdraw. They're going to, you know, they're going to put up some points. So anyways, here you go. You can go through all of this at SweetSpotDFS.com. Do all your digging. Check everything out that you want. You can just go by tournament. If you want to put the parameters from the golf course or anything like that, you certainly can. Grass stats, you can put all that stuff in there. Narrow down this however you see fit. But yeah, kind of showed you the strategies that I would deploy. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to go with the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. Let me look at the chat and see what everyone's saying. So Byron in the chat goes, tell the people how long you've been streaming for since, you know, you were signing up for your lifetime. I've been streaming since 2019. 2019. So I've been in this for a while. And I don't plan on slowing down. So you're at least going to get this for more than 1 year. And hell, some of those subscription websites out there right now, I'm not going to name names, but some of them actually have you paying like $500 a year to use. I have better tools than they have. So just for this 1 year, you should sign up on my website. Or be a lifetime member and have it for who knows how many years, you know? Don't make yourself sound so sketch. What are you talking about? How did I sound sketch? Lombardi Lee goes, hey, what's up, Joanne, John, AJ, Eric, Nathan, and Back 9 Bets? What's going on, Lombardi Lee? Nice to see you, man. Okay. I will get back to you, Byron. But let's move into, you know what? I forgot that I typically do reviews, and I don't know how I'm going to show you guys a review this week because I stopped doing the spreadsheeting stuff. Like I did all the updates in here. I will show you one thing though. Let me pull up my history. We did well last week when it came to the DraftKings stuff. So we'll go here. And let me show you, if I put in the quarter arcade, look at this. We finished third. We finished third in the quarter arcade. I won't lie. I'm not a huge fan of the Hawaii tournament because that event ends so late. And that's kind of what got me on a late start and updating all of my tools and all of the data. So if you were looking for the cheat sheet earlier than, 5 minutes before the stream, I apologize. I just couldn't get to it. I had a busy weekend, and then Sunday, golf tournament. I don't even remember when the golf tournament even ended here. But I literally didn't have a sweat. I had no idea that I came this close until I opened up my app. After I got home from my little trip up north, opened up my app and saw that I had doubled the amount of money I put in. So we got third place. The lineup that I had was Matsuyama, McIntyre, Goddard, Penrith, Gerard, and Haotong Lee. Haotong is the only guy that really screwed me. Finished 55th place. Shoot, if he would have got me one more birdie, I would have taken this down because I lost by 2.5 points. I didn't get first place by 2.5 points. So anyways, yeah, we did well. We put in $50 and got back 100. So that'll be my review to you guys. I don't have much of a review other than that. Before I get into the bucket system for this event, does anybody want me to talk about one and done stuff? Like, do you want me to go over a one and done strategy throughout this? Because I certainly can. I have a tool for it that I have updated the OWGR to now. Before it had Byron's back nine rankings in there, but now the OWGR is currently up to date. So you can look at OWGR however you like. You know what? Screw it. We'll do some one and done. So you can toggle between this week and all time. You can look however you want to do your research. You can go between all time or this week. So this week loads in this week's field, and you have all of these buttons down here that we can just cycle through. So for this week, if we were to go to average money, because that's going to be one of those things. We got a blank. Forgot to filter out the blanks. If we went by average money, and if say we only want to look at the American Express, we can go into this tournament, right? Or we can go into this filter here and just put in the American. And we can see who has made the most money at this event. Christian Bezuidenhout, surprise. This is average money. Sorry, this is just average money. So he obviously had that first place, considered a first place, although Nick Dunlap had won the tournament. He got the first place prize money. Followed by Sepp Straka, Davis Thompson, Andrew Landry, and then there's Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay, Siwoo Kim. You do not see Scotty Scheffler up there. Well, I guess you do. He's right here. If we went into total money, you could also sort by this, and you could see Andrew Landry's won the most money, followed by Sepp Straka, Siwoo Kim, all that good stuff. I mean, if you want to go by money, you can go by money. You want to go by top 10s and see who has the most top 10s here? JT Poston does. He has 4. Andrew Landry's second. Obviously, Andrew Landry's Stoneman. He's $6,000. I have no idea how good that guy is anymore. He hasn't been relevant for the longest time. You should also make your own one and done rankings. Quit being such a square. All right, Byron. Jesus. Did you just come in and just choose violence? What is... Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, dude? Good God. Top 10 percentage. Ben Griffin. I mean, I imagine that's only 3 events worth, and he's 66% top 10 rate. Patrick Cantlay has a 57%. I mean, Cantlay has the best. He's played this event well, I don't remember how many times he has played this event. Let's bring up this tool that I made for course history. And look at Patrick Cantlay. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 events. 1 missed cut. Look at that. That was way back in 2013. 1 missed cut. So yeah, 57% top 10 rate for Patrick Cantlay. So if you wanted to burn Patrick Cantlay, this might be the time, or you wait until the fall, which I actually don't think most one and dones allow you to pick golfers in the playoffs. So I don't know. You also go by average finishing position, and you're going to get some like golfers that have only played once. So I can't really help you out on that one. You can kind of combine the historical starts with some of these average finishes if you want. Obviously, if we look at the wins, you can see all the wins that have happened here as well. So you can use this however you want. Last week, I chose Colin Morikawa because Colin Morikawa, if you looked at his average finishing position, and if we just did all time, no, this week. It was by this week, and I think I just chose the first 4 events. So I went into here, and I basically just remembered the order, because once you select one, they're all going to disappear, so you just have to remember the order. But if I went like the Sony, and then the American Express, WM Phoenix Open, Pebble Beach, Farmers. This is kind of what I did last week. And obviously I got burned by it because, you know, Colin Morikawa missed the cut. Little did I know he was going to have a new putter in his bag. And that was just awful. Awful, awful, awful. But we can go and just see which golfers get off to the hottest starts during the year. That's kind of the whole premise of why I went with Morikawa at the Sony. And I just had a good feeling about it. We can see. So, yeah, Scotty Scheffler gets off to a pretty hot start. So too does Patrick Cantlay. So too does Justin Rose. So if you wanted a reason to play Justin Rose, there you go. Cantlay does a little bit better at Pebble Beach than he does here at the American Express. But hey, this is one of those course horses that you can play at the American Express. I think that is just fine. Jason Day, I'm sorry to gloss over that, but he kind of gets off to hot starts too. And he did not play last week, so who knows? Maybe he's going to play well. I've missed you. Miss you too, Byron. So anyways, again, another tool at SweetSpotDFS.com that you can go around and mess with, if you, however you like. There's always an eraser button that gets rid of everything that you did. You can go back in and do everything that you did once again. I got to fix this OWGR thing. You can go ahead and, oh my God. All right, now I need to fix that for sure. I can't believe I let that slip. Oh no. Well, when you load it up, actually, if I were to refresh the page, here's a little trick. Refresh the page, and the old report that was there will filter in. There you go. That's an easy fix. All right, I'll fix the eraser button. We won't let the eraser button touch this. Or maybe we will. Yeah, we will. We'll just have to... Yeah, we'll just have to bookmark this right here. Okay. All right. We did one and done. We did one and done. How many strokes is he gaining in round one? Who? Scotty? Scotty must have the best single strokes gain split average ever. How many strokes is he gaining in round one? Well, Byron, we can go here and go into the round by round. And if we just go select round one right here, and we just drill down into Scotty Scheffler. Actually, we don't really need to scroll down into Scotty Scheffler. I'm just going to look at 1 year's worth of data. So 1/5, 2020. Well, let's go 1/20, 2025. So one full year. We have 21 first round appearances for Scotty Scheffler. I mean, Josh Vanderlaan and S.H. Kim are, you know, waxing him. These two golfers alone are so much better. How does that compare to anybody else in round 1, 2, 3, 4, or even a venue with ample sample size that rivals plus 3.8 strokes? Good question. I should probably create a rounds filter in here so we can exclude the noise. Plus 3.81. Ben Griffin, I guess. That he's half of Scotty Scheffler, which seems appropriate. He's half. That's so nuts. He's half. And that day, what I said last year, Ben Griffin is Ben Griffin is the hottest golfer on the PGA Tour not named Scotty Scheffler. That checks out. That checks out. He's still the hottest golfer not named Scotty Scheffler. That just means he's half of Scotty, I guess. That just means he's half of Scotty. That's scary. That is so scary. All right, that's cool. So our stats line up, hey? Byron, 3.8? You had 3.8? I imagine you're using your data and you weren't using the site. I'd be very surprised if you've logged in at least once. Okay. All right. So we did one and done. That's crazy. Crazy. Are we at the 1 hour mark? We just hit the 1 hour mark. So that means roll call. Roll call. Who is your one and done this week? All right, ladies and germs, go ahead and put in your one and done pick, and you will get an entry into next week's giveaway for $5. $5. Byron with Sammy Biscuits. I don't mind that, Byron. 1 hour goes by so fast. Like, I honestly don't even feel like I've been streaming for an hour. Also a question to the chat. Well, actually, I'll reminder. I feel like there might be some people that are behind. Blue Blood, are you Philip Hall? I can't remember. Philip Hall? Yeah, you're Philip Hall. A reminder, I forgot I was going to say this. Reminder, make sure you hit the little live button down here to the left, somewhere over there on your little playback interface. Make sure you're live. So if you know, if I'm asking you guys questions, you're not that far behind, and then I just skip you guys. Not getting cute. Also, I am done commenting until someone else says something that is not a one and done pick. Yeah, dude. Okay. I don't know if people are behind, but we'll see. We'll see if anyone is behind. But we're going to move on. I'm going to move on to the bucket system for the American Express. Which I don't have up. Anyways, you can get to the bucket system by going to SweetSpotDFS.com. We'll wait for that to load. Which is great prep work from me. I already have the American Express loaded in, and the beautiful thing about the bucket system is it gives us a zoomed out level or a zoomed out look at what stats matter heading into this tournament. I captured lead-in data. All lead-in data. I capture it all. And basically, this is just to let us know, you know, what we should really be aiming for. You know how, like, a lot of people around the industry are talking about how golfers leading into this event, or golfers that played in Hawaii do well at this event? Well, you can figure that out, you know, looking at the last week buckets. There are filters up here that we can use. So if we wanted just to look at last week buckets, we can drill down on that, hit the little X mark, get out of there, and we can just look at last week data. So nothing except for golfers who did not play last week have 100% frequency. We can drill down into each one of these buckets and just take a look as to where, you know, golfers did finish inside the top 10 or did not finish inside the top 10. Also, we can scroll down a little bit further and we can actually look at all the players that fit inside that bucket. So we'd have to pick one of the buckets actually. So last week, let's pick last week one. If I scroll down here and we look at all the golfers that finished, you know, top 20 from the week before, or I suppose, I mean, that's last week. That's not recent form, I suppose. Okay, we would want to look at recent form also. Recent form is going to show us golfers that have played. Oh, I need to show you guys. I got to give you like the old school cheat sheet. That's what I need to do. So my apologies. I have yet to do that. Anyways, if we were just looking at golfers that are coming here from last week, we can actually see who all finished inside the top 10, their top 5 counts for each of the buckets that I have. Bucket 1 for most of these stats are always that 1 to 20 range. So golfers who won last week to 20th place. Then it's 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, 80 plus, did not play. you can see all the frequency numbers in here. So if I drill into top 5 counts, this will change a little bit. If I go to top 20 counts, because most of you guys might care about top 20s, you can see this a little bit better. And you can see the frequency changes quite a bit. So I was just looking at top 10 counts, and we can see if we just look at, the last week ones, we had 0 from the Sony Open that finished, inside the top 20 at the Sony, I should say. Come here and finish inside the top 10. 0 golfers. Same thing in 2024, but there were 2 in 2023, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 3, and then actually quite a bit in 2017, 2016, 2015. We could actually go up to here and select the year and take a look, of these golfers that did finish. What was their last week finish? And then you can see the golfers that did finish inside the top 10 right here. Siwoo Kim, Jamie Lovemark, David Lingmer, Jason Duffner. You can see what their lead and data look like. You can see the golfers, I should say. And you can do with that however you want. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm kind of just pointing out what you can do with the bucket system. I mostly, for these videos, just want to showcase what buckets matter. So last year ones, I was just looking at this before jumping on. There's 100% frequency for last year ones. And if I just drill down into that, this will filter out the other sections that I have. We take a look here and we just look at top 10s. So top 10s who had a top 10 or a top 20 here from the year before. And you take a look at some of these names, most of the golfers are high-end golfers. Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, John Rahm, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, Sung Jae, like a lot of 10K golfers. So with that data, what you could do is go back to the cheat sheet, whatever cheat sheet you want to look at, and just take a look. Our 10K golfers, who finished inside the top 10 or the top 20 from the year before? We've got Patrick Cantlay and we got Ben Griffin. But it doesn't really just stop at 10Ks. We had some 9K golfers in there and some 8K golfers. So, the next best represented range or salary would actually be 7Ks, then followed by 9s, then followed by 8s. So again, if we go to the cheat sheet, now we go down to the 9Ks. Who do we have here in the 9Ks? Just Sepp Straka. That's it. We scroll down to the 8K range. The only 8K golfers we have are Jason Day and JT Poston. And if we go down there, now we got a few 7K golfers to consider. Nick Taylor, Will Zalatoris. Yeah, Will Zalatoris, by the way. Max Grazerman, Alex Smalley. Great course history. But if we went into the course, and this is the other thing you can do with the bucket system, let's go into the course history ones. That's this bucket here. This is where we will find Alex Smalley. It's like a 50% hit rate of finishing inside the top 10, having that good of course history. We've seen a max of 3 in 1 year finish inside the top 10, but we've only seen a max of 1 in the optimal lineup and a max of 2 inside the top 5. If we scroll down, we can actually take a little bit closer look to see what our numbers look like throughout each of the years. There was 0 in 2025. And by the way, if you want to just lift off a top 10 counts, so if I have nothing drilled in, you can see the total amount of golfers that were in this bucket that represent this bucket for each of the years. So there were 7 total golfers in 2025. 0 finished inside the top 10. In 2024, we had 8, only 1. And that same thing applied in 2023. In 2022, we had 0. There was a total of 5. In 2021, there was 8. We had 0 then. And I mean, you can actually drill into, I think we can drill into these buckets, right? I might have too many. Oh, I do. Yeah. Because they didn't finish inside the top 10. So we get rid of this. Now we can see those golfers. So if we're looking at last year, Nick Dunlap came in. He was the winner from the year before. He finished 34th. Rio Satsune. So, we have a 10K golfer, Sung Jae, a 9K golfer in Siwoo, $8,900 Davis Thompson. He finished 51st. So we had a lot of good players not finish inside the top 10. Now, they're not Patrick, well, Sung Jae, I would say, is like Patrick Cantlay caliber. So what would, like, you know, this week, do we really have anybody that kind of represents that? I'm actually going to go into the cheat sheet. I'll use my cheat sheet, actually. I'm going to go in here to find these golfers. I think it's just going to be easier until I build that tool for you guys to take a look at our course history ones that are in the field this week. Do I have other filters on? Is it just 5? No. Oh, yeah, we only have 5 because of course history. We're looking at Alex Smalley. That's who I was looking at, Alex Smalley. Do I think Ben Griffin is the equivalent of, say, Sungjae Im from last year? No. Sungjae was struggling leading up into the event. I mean, like, we didn't have a lot of lead-in data to look at, but if we took his fall, head into spring, or I should say winter, I'm not saying Ben Griffin is anything like Sungjae from last year. So I actually do like Ben Griffin. But then we have 7 and 6K golfers. Do we really feel that confident in any 4 of those golfers? Probably not. So really, to me, the only shot of getting a top 10 is, I would say this, I'd give 80% to Ben Griffin, 15% to Alex Smalley, and then split up 5%. And that's being generous. That's being very generous for these 3 golfers. Maybe we get 4% to Nick Dunlap just because his approach game has been looking solid as of late. But yeah. So anyways, there's 5 course history golfers there. And again, if you use the bucket system and you were to take a look at, you know, just course history ones, whenever there was 5, you know, I guess, do we see anything good? No. So there was a 5 in 2022, 5 in 2020, and then we've got some lower numbers in 2018, 2017. So 2022, 0. 2020, there were 2. Who were those guys? I wonder. Sam Burns and Sung Jae Im. Speak of the devil, Sung Jae Im. Sam Burns. Is Jimmy Stanger the next Sam Burns? I don't think so. I don't think so. Is Frankie Sappin the next Sam Burns? No, I don't think so. So I think you can ignore those golfers. And I know this is just kind of doing a rough comparison, but yeah. I'm showing you different ways that you can use this bucket system tool. So just going over all the buckets that I'm kind of highlighting here. Last year ones. Yeah, absolutely. Golfers who top 20 here last year. There's a good enough amount of golfers that I do think that this 100% frequency continues to happen. And I guess just again to go over that. Let's look at our last year ones. Golfers who finished inside the top 20 last year. You have Ben Griffin, Patrick Cantlay, Sepp Straka, Jason Day. Those are all your 8K and above. You have 2 10K golfers. I think just one of those 4 alone will finish inside the top 10, no problem. But if you want to get a little spicy with your lineups, Nick Taylor, JT Poston, Will Zalatoris, Kevin Roy, Mark Hubbard, Alex Smalley. This is obviously no particular order. I guess let me sort it this way. This is better. Yeah, okay. Will Zalatoris, Grazerman, Smalley, Roy, Hubbard, Taylor Moore, Bo Hosler, Cam Davis, Justin Lauer, Camilo Villegas, Charlie Hoffman, and if you did want to get, you know, a little risky, Frankie Sapp in the 3rd down there. I think whatever. You guys can do wherever you want. Let's take a look here. Other buckets. Golfers who missed the cut last year. That's 100% frequency, meaning it's happened every single year at least once. If I go down to this little thing down here, how frequently have we seen top 10s? 1 in 2025, 2 in 2024, 1 in 2023, 4, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, 4, 0. Pretty good number. Again, if you want to look at the totals and compare them, you certainly can. I mean, we get numbers over 40. That's quite a bit. Oh yeah, missed cuts. Yeah. Missed cuts. Over 40. So, I mean, the The success percentage is low, 6.06. That's looking at every golfer in that bucket, every golfer to ever exist in this bucket. And what is the the success rate that they finished inside the top 10? Not great. Not great. So, what other ones do we have? Did not plays. Golfers who did not play. That's 100% frequency, even inside the optimal lineup, guys. This is the other crazy thing. At least one golfer who was a last year one in the optimal lineup every single year. At least one golfer who missed the cut last year in the optimal lineup every single year. Same thing with golfers who did not play. One golfer always in the optimal. You can also look at the top 20 stats over here as well. So there's, obviously that's one way to look at it. We do have last week data. This doesn't tell you if they've played in Hawaii. This is only looking at last week. I suppose we could look at recent form. And recent form only goes back the last 7 weeks, so this could pick up the Hero World Challenge sometimes, just to let you guys know. We can look recent form. How is that always won? I changed the finishing position to 10. You can look at all the golfers. Yeah, they're all the best golfers. These are, I think, golfers who did play. You can see most of them probably played at the Century. They probably played at the Hero. So obviously you're getting these good golfers. Sepp Straka, JT, Justin Thomas, that is. Cantlay, Schauffele, Justin Thomas again. Jon Rahm, Xander, Chris Kirk. Was that after he? Yeah, that's after he won the Century. Taylor Montgomery, Patrick Cantlay, Finau, Scheffler, Fowler, all the good players, Is there anyone that's really considered a recent form one? I'm not positive on that. Oh yeah. We've got some recent form ones, quite a bit actually. Like I said, this is picking up the Hero World Challenge. So you got Scotty in there, Ben Griffin, Burns, Henley. I mean, yeah, I don't know what you want to do with the Hero World Challenge. There was only 20 golfers in that field, so the recent form is just going to be really inflated. But this does incorporate all those events, all the years that when there was a Hero World Challenge. So just throwing that out there, guys. That's probably you're probably fine, including the Hero World Challenge. The only golfers I think that weren't in the Century or the Hero would have been Taylor Montgomery in 2023 and Kevin Chappell in 2018. But I'm not certain on that. I am not certain. But yeah, those are the only two golfers. Everybody else you can almost assume that they did play the Hero World Challenge. So I'm okay with that. Honestly, that's fine by me looking at that. So there's always one golfer from there, and then everything else is kind of a crapshoot. Coming down to salaries, there's always been one golfer from the 10K range inside the top 10, but that does not apply to the optimal lineup or the top 5. You can see that up here. Optimal lineup, if we follow down. There is a 75% frequency, though, of golfers from the 10K range being in the optimal lineup. That's pretty high. 75% finishing inside the top 5. That is also pretty high. If I drill down into this and scroll down and just look at top 5 finishes, 2025, 24, 23, 23, 21, 2019, 2018. So yeah, 2020, no. And 2022, no. Those are the only 2 years we have not seen golfers in the 10K range finish inside the top 5. Inside the top 5. You can see the names: Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Jon Rahm, Patrick Cantlay. Kind of your typical golfers there. So, is there anything else to glean from this? Strokes gain data, I do that a little different. If you want to check how I do that, I do have an article at SweetSpotDFS.com that explains how I do my strokes gain data. Here's a wonderful thing about this tool. Choose your view down here. You can drill down on strokes gain stats, and you can sort this however you want. You can filter out. You can use all of these filters here select the golfer, select the year, select other buckets to include with all of this. If you want to go up here and drill down on any of this stuff, so, you know, one of those things we were looking at were course history 1 golfers, I think. We were, but let's not do that. Let's go into recent form 1. So if I go into recent form 1 golfers and then I scroll down on this page and we use this right here, you can see what the golfer's lead in strokes gained data was. And the thing that I like to do here is just look for like really bad players. So, all right. So if I sort from top to bottom, the blanks are going to show up first. But if I look here, you know, golfers that were in this last year 1 bucket, again, these are golfers who finished inside the top 20 the year before. We're looking at their lead in data. $7,000 Francesco Molinari was a break-even golfer. He was break-even off the tee, break-even off approach. His putting was just bad enough, but everything else was just positive enough to be just positive strokes gained total. Sam Burns, positive off the tee, negative approach, negative around the green, but positive putting. He was barely break-even. And then you get into like 0.227. Oh, I should say you go from 0.227 to 0.504 and up. So golfers coming in, and this is lead-in data, at least 1 year's worth of strokes gained data leading into it. So you can see what their off the tee stats were, their approach, around the green, putting. I don't think anyone else is capturing lead-in data to just analyze every single year to see what each golfer has done leading into the event. You can really narrow down your analysis using the bucket system and using the rest of the tools at SweetSpotDFS.com. So you can see the golfers, and you can see what stats are coming in. Strokes gained total, like Xander, a bunch of guys here, 1.7 coming in. And how you would do this is you would use this tool, again, the bucket system, and then you would also go to the strokes gained stats. And this is all by, again, put in the parameters here of 1 year's worth of data. Let me go back to round and unselect that. Go back into here. And now you can see, you know, strokes gained data, total. And we can sort from top to bottom. You know, like all of these golfers that are high priced that have over 0.5 strokes, you can be happy playing any of those guys. Feel comfortable doing so. You can see that happens here. One of the best ways that I like to use this tool, and usually what I show you guys Wednesday night during the members only streams. What is the filter that okay, that was it. One of the things I like to look at, you can do this several different ways. We can either use this right here and just select 6K golfers, like either one of these or both by holding down control. Or we can go into the bucket right here and I can scroll down to the salary bucket. So if I want the low 6 and the high 6, and I'm only wanting to look at finishing positions, all of those that finish inside the top 10, I like to actually sort by off the tee stats and just see how many are negative and how bad. Look at this. $6,500 Nick Dunlap from 2024 had just as bad stats as he does this year. Honestly, he came in with negative 1.52 strokes total, minus 1.616 on approach. These have flipped now. His off the tee is now in the negative like this, and his approach is actually in the positive. But he did a whole 180 when it comes to those stats. Adam Long won this turn. Oh my God. Look at all of the winners and their negative strokes gain stats. $6,500, $6,700, 62, 65, 65, 62, 60. Okay. Oh my God. That is insane. And then you can look at the positives and you can sort these stats however you want. Maybe you can find some patterns that you know you could go with. Does off the tee matter than approach? I don't know. Let's do the sorts. And this is just looking at 6K golfers. Doesn't really look like anything matters, to be quite honest with you. I mean, almost every golfer in the 6K range that finished inside the top 10 for every year, almost as had negative around the green stats leading into the event. Gotta put that disclaimer, leading into the event. Yeah, everything is like, doesn't matter what stat it is. Most of the golfers that finish inside the top 10 at this event that are in the 6K range have all had negative strokes gained stats. Whether it's total, off the tee, it doesn't matter. The majority of these golfers, if I just sort by each of these columns, have way more negative stats than they have positive stats. So what can you do with that? Strokes gain, you can come up here. I don't think I have a salary filter. I should probably get on that. Can I do it like this? I don't know if I can. Nope, this isn't the right way to do it. So don't do it this way. If you do it this way, all that sorting are the stats down here, or the data that's down here. So if any of these golfers were ever in the 6K range over this period of time, it'll show up here. So that's not the right way to do it. Okay, something I need to add, which I will. But anyways, shoot. Anyway, let's go down to the 6K range. So if I scroll down the 6K range and I just take a look at strokes gained total, you know, I'm not saying target golfers with negative strokes gained total stats, but I'm also saying don't be afraid to play golfers with negative strokes gained total stats. And I'm talking like terrible ones like Neil Shipley, $6,900. And not coming in with really good stats. How many rounds of data do I have of him? Just 8 rounds, that's it. Tony Finau, minus 3.19. He's been playing some awful golf. Maybe this is how he turns it around. That $6,500 price tag was the sweet spot, right? Hida Nakajima? Maybe. Tom Hoge. Okay, so there you go. Tom Hoge kind of fits that mold pretty well. And I'm just looking at the very like terrible strokes gained total golfers. I'm not really looking at, you know, like Jackson Suber's fine. I don't mind that. Minus 1 or minus 0.1. That's fine. David Ford, by the way, I know a lot of people have been very excited to play David Ford only for him to like disappoint most. Maybe this is the week that you could play David Ford. Cam Davis, what a great time. What a, like, again, showing you guys that these low priced golfers with really bad strokes gained stats might have a shot. ST Lee, sure. Let's probably not play Crystal Lamprecht. Although this is, like I said, I at the beginning when it came to the golf course and tournament information, I don't mind bombers at this golf course. This golf course, or these golf courses, are pretty forgiving, so I don't mind playing a bomber, but I don't know if I'll ever play Christo this year. He'd have to really turn around his game. I just think he's being that tall and having to play standard length clubs is just never, dude, it sucks. I think it's unfair. He should be able to play with longer clubs so he doesn't have to have that goofy ass golf swing that he has. Joe Highsmith, what a time to play Joe Highsmith. He does have a hole-in-one here. Maybe he could do it again. I don't know. Vanderlaan, I heard someone talk about first-round leaders. Carl Phillips, by the way. I saw him down here in the $6,200 range. I think Carl Phillips is a great play. Smotherman, Austin Smotherman, -5. Yeah, sure, why not? Pontius Pilot, let's not play him. Pontus Nyholm. Frankie Sappin actually fits that mold. So does Hank Libiota. Okay. I've seen enough. I don't need to go through every single golfer, but those golfers that I just named off, I think are going to be okay plays in the 6K range this week. So that's it. I'm not going to go any more into the bucket system. I think that was a great way to showcase the bucket system and what to do with it. Hopefully it got us to some golfers that maybe we wouldn't have thought to play, some buckets that we do want to play. And oh, by the way, something I already forgot to mention, you can, so we're going to build lineups shortly. We're going to go over the Marquee Tee Times, but the lineups are going to have the bucket conditionals in, and I'm actually going to open up my other, I don't know why. Here. There we go. Copy and pasted them over. Okay. So I have all the bucket conditionals in here. What you didn't see during that bucket system segment is normally I have projections that go with the buckets. I haven't figured out a way to do that on the website just yet. I'm getting there. There has to be a lot of like pulling data from this week and trying to do the exact same thing that I do in these spreadsheets. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. But I have projections based off of the frequencies that we saw for each of these buckets and how many golfers are in the field in those buckets this year. That's what kind of determines the bucket projections. So that is what you will see in the optimizer. And if you want access to the optimizer, which this is the optimizer on the screen, if you want access to this, all you got to do is go into Fantasy Tools to Optimizer, and then this pop-up shows up, and you put your email address in here and request now. Last week, for whatever reason, the mailer from the website wasn't sending out emails to notify me that people were requesting the optimizer. I've fixed that now. So I am getting emails. I did get one earlier today. I think Bryson was asking for one. I haven't had a chance to send one out to you. I literally just updated it right before going live. So I will send it to you after the stream. If anybody else wants the optimizer, you can do it this way. Actually, this is the only way to do it. So go to the website under Optimizer, click on that. That pop-up will show up, and that's how you can request one from me. Okay. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to check the chat before we get into the Marquee Tee Times. Mr. Marlowe, do you send the optimizer each week? If you send email, or do I need to request it each week? You do need to request it each week. I am sorry about that. I'm not sure. You know what? That's actually an interesting question. Maybe I'll create like a mailing list that will send it. Also, by the way, I do intend to have an optimizer on the website at some point in time. I just have to learn Python and attach it to my website, which I did look into it during the off season. And I'm like, oh, this looks easier than I thought originally. So who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it will be easier. Maybe it won't. I'll dig into it eventually. What is going on, Logan? Nice to see you, man. Locked in now. Okay. Well, we already talked about Jackson Suber, so you missed out, man. You missed out. No, we're going to get into Marquee Tee Times, and we're going to do that right now. Okay. So if you want to follow along, you can actually access the Marquee Tee Times from the cheat sheet. Again, you can go to the cheat sheet. You can get a free, 2 versions of a free cheat sheet by going to SweetSpotDFS.com. Go check the description. There's a link there. You can either look at this, but of course we're going over Marquee Tee Times. So go here, click into here. You're going to get to the Google sheet that I have. Go ahead and put that filter on. If I zoom in for you guys, all you got to do is go to column O where it says group rank and go, oh, there's a filter in here already. Okay. And just go a group rank A to Z. And these are the Marquee Tee Times in the field this week. I'm actually going to close this one out. That was the cheat sheet, so you can access it on your guys' end. But for me, I have my cheat sheet right here. And I will zoom in as much as I had zoomed in for you guys. So this week we have golfers that are paired in twosomes. Most of the time we have golfers paired up in threesomes. Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. So the rule that I have every single week is you want to select 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times, and you do not want to pair them up together. And I'm going to get proven wrong here with the first example. This rarely happens, but it can happen. Now, I tell you not to because over 90% of the time, golfers from the same tee time do not show up in the optimal lineup or even in the SweetSpot optimal. They show up more often in a GPP winner, but if you're really trying to take down a GPP, most GPPs are not optimal. And what I mean by that, even like a SweetSpot optimal is the best lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary and above. Most GPP winners use about 50,000 of the salary. It's like it fluctuates between 49.8 to 50,000. So they use up most of the salary. The SweetSpot optimal always beats the GPP, except for like the 2 times it didn't. And if I look at every SweetSpot optimal, they don't have golfers paired up together. And I shouldn't even say that. What I'm trying to make the argument for is you will rarely see, like last year where you had Justin Thomas and Jason Day in the same group, be in the optimal lineup. They finished 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Patrick Cantlay was also in the GPP winning lineup. He was in a different group. And then the SweetSpot optimal, like I said, always beats the GPP. So this is 2025. If I go to 2025 and I look at the SweetSpot optimal, it scored 766 points. I already just saw it lost by 1.5 points. Okay. So very rarely does it happen, but obviously last year it did. That doesn't help my case, but I'm being transparent with you. In 2024, this is sorted out by Marquee Tee Times, and you can see that this didn't happen, or it didn't happen this year. You had Xander and Justin Thomas. One was in group 3, one was in group 2. And you had Adam Hadwin down here that was just barely not in the Marquee Tee Times. If I scroll through the rest, I don't see anybody else that was paired up in the optimal, the GPP, or the SweetSpot optimal. If I go to 2023, and I go ahead and put a filter on this, and we go by our group rank once again, you can see Xander's in the optimal lineup right here. JT Poston is in the optimal right here. I actually have Tom Kim in the SweetSpot optimal. So too is JT Poston. Again, these guys are not playing together. Even Justin Thomas is with Siwoo Kim. It looks like he's with John Rahm down here, but he isn't. And then you have John Rahm. None of these guys are playing together. So that's already 2 other years that I've gone through this where they weren't playing together. If I go here, I don't have SweetSpot optimals. I have to go by color. I'm gonna have to do this 2 different ways. So it just goes by color. You can see the game numbers here. Rahm was in the GPP winning lineup, but Finau was not. HV3 was in the GPP winning lineup, but Zalatoris was not. Zalatoris was actually in the SweetSpot optimal. Lonto Griffin was in the optimal and the GPP and the SweetSpot. He's down here. And then you had Patrick Cantlay, who was in the SweetSpot optimal, but his playing partner was not. And there's another color I have, I believe, which none of them did well. Okay. So anyways, I just went over a few years. I won't have anything in 2021, but we could actually sort by game number and we can see if anybody was playing together. Abe Answer was in the optimal lineup and his playing partner, Scotty Scheffler, missed the cut, believe it or not. Come down here, Michael Thompson was in the optimal and his playing partner, Tyler Duncan, was not. Go down to Siwoo Kim. His playing partner missed the cut. Patrick Cantlay was in the optimal lineup. His playing partner, Ricky Fowler, finished 21st. Gim down here in the optimal yet again, or not yet again, but yet again, his playing partner was not in the optimal. And Cam Davis, his playing partner, missed the cut. So again, another year, and that was the optimal lineup, that your golfers did not, they weren't in the same tee time. So if we go to 2026, and those were all pairs of 2, just pairs of 2. Sketchy. What do you mean by sketchy, Byron? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so here's our pairings for the event. My first group, by the way, although Justin Rose is in the group with Scotty Scheffler, and Scotty Scheffler's ranking in my model is so much higher than anybody else's, Scotty Scheffler is only in group 3. Marquee group 3. That's because Justin Rose is bringing him down. I do not have Rose rated out very well for this event, but here are all of the Marquee Tee Times. You've got Patrick Cantlay and Ben Griffin. They're both in the 10K range. I think both of them are tremendous plays this week. If you're not going Scotty, one of those guys anchoring your lineups is beautiful. I think just fine. Your next group of Sam Burns and Sepp Straka, I love quite a bit. That's another good group. And if you wanted to, like, if you anchored your lineup with a Cantlay, Burns or Sepp Straka is just fine. You'll have a ton of salary left to basically, you know, do anything with your lineups. Whereas if you were to start with Scotty, the average amount of, you know what? How does that work? Let me double check something. I'm going to bring up DraftKings. I started a lineup. Here, I'll bring this over here. If I started a lineup with Scheffler, I have $7,100 left. If I started it with, say, Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns, $7,400 left. I have more salary left remaining average per player than I would with Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns. But I'll say this. I start out with Scheffler, and I go down to my guy, Michael Brennan. Oh, that's even if I go down in the 6K range and pick out Brennan, who's one of my favorite 6K golfers down here, still not good enough to get that average price to be better. So here's your 2 for 2, right? Your 2v2, I should say. Scheffler and Brennan versus Burns and Cantlay. You know what? As much as I like playing this kind of game, I would much rather have Burns and Cantlay. That's hard to stomach, man. That's hard to swallow. Okay. So anyways, so we went through Cantlay and Griffin, Burns and Straka. Now we're to Scheffler and Rose. Figure out what you want to do there. I'm not a huge fan of Justin Rose this week, although I don't have an issue playing Justin Rose. Noren and Day. Two different, well, I suppose Day now fades the golf ball. I do have him as a draw golfer, but I think he does fade the golf ball a little bit now. I still think different game styles. Sometimes you want to see your playing partner hit the same types of shots that you hit to make you feel a bit more comfortable. Couldn't be different, in my opinion. I don't know if that's going to hurt or help. I don't know. The next group is Henley and Akshay. I like both of them, and they're both starting at La Quinta, which I think is a great starting course for this tournament. Harry Hall and Ryan Gerard, that's fine. Ludwig and English, why did they put those guys together? I don't know why. I feel like they're paired. Well, I could probably go look that up some other way. Actually, can I? Hold on. Wait a minute. So if I put in Ludwig here, and I go into, what other filters do we have? Let me clear out the filters first. Ludwig. Okay. And then I go into this and I go opponent, and we put in Harris English. I don't know if you guys knew that this filter was here, but it is. Okay. He's only played with Harris English one time. And I'm not sure what round that is. I have views that I need to fix. This would actually show us what round that was. I don't remember. I'll have to fix that at some point in time. Well, I'll have to work on this too. But hey, 14th place finish for actually, let's look at the other way around. Let's go English. Did Harris play well? I wonder. Harris English, and we'll give his opponent of Luddy Duddy. He missed the cut. So yeah, Harris English, the one time he played with Ludwig, not great. Do with that whatever you want. It doesn't really matter to me. Okay. In the next group, you get two Canadians. We like that, and they're both playing at La Quinta. So you get Pendrith and Nick Taylor. I kind of like Nick Taylor this week. McIntyre and Wyndham Clark. I also like that group. I don't mind playing either one of them. So now that I've gone through the Marquee Tee Times, it is up to you guys. We are going to build lineups, and I want you to give me 2 to 4 golfers, preferably from the Marquee Tee Times. You don't have to, but like I said, it's preferred. I guess I'll try to make this easier for you guys to read. I don't know if this helps or if this hurts, but give me 2 to 4 golfers. Put them in the chat. Put them in the chat, and we will go from there. We'll start building lineups. I'm gonna put some music on. Let me know if it's too loud, and I will turn it down. Hey. Blue Blood is first. Philip Hall is first. Norrin Holland posted. You know what I forgot to mention? I'll kind of let it slide for now, but moving forward, okay, here are two things. One, I think I'm going to, in the future, end the stream after Marquee Tee Times and basically start a new stream immediately afterwards where it's just going to be building lineups. I don't want to see what that would look like for engagement and stuff like that. And just see how many views one video gets over the other. I don't know if more people are interested in the building lineup portion or if they're more interested in the information portion. I know that's kind of inconvenient to some extent, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. The second thing, you do have to have a badge next to your name in order for me to build lineups for you. I don't think I'll do that today. I can certainly, I forgot to mention that. But yes, in the future, you need to have a badge next to your name in order to you're going to need a badge. I think the longer the videos, the more views. YouTube can jam more ads into longer vids. Maybe. Possible. Oh, Byron, you silky motherfucker. Good job, dude. Appreciate you. Here, let's give Byron some recognition. Thank you, Byron. Badges. Did we get this video up to 25 likes yet? I can't see. I see 13 likes. I need to add some more emotes in there. Okay. All right. Thank you, Byron. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's start building our lineups. All right. Norin, Hall, and Poston. All right. 5 lineups for you, sir, and then we will move on. Oh my God. You get Michael Brennan right away. You get McIntyre, Hall, Norin, Postenberger, and Brennan. That's actually a really good lineup. Here's what I need to do. We need to change the top to 50, the bottom to the next to 33, the next underneath that to 25, and then we drop into, I think 15 is probably the best to do these top 7K golfers, 15%. Sorry for not doing this before, but I totally forgot. And I'm going to go into 10% for these guys. Byron, by the way, I asked you what's sketchy, and you said that, I think you just mentioned that doesn't make me look good. I don't remember what you said. Why you said what you said. Why you say what you say. That's a good lineup right there. Next lineup is the same lineup essentially, except for we change out the 7K golfer. We put an Akshay. We changed our 9K golfer, right? We went from Bobby Mack now down to Sepp Straka. This is a really good lineup. Harry Hall, Straka, Norin, Poston, Batia, and Bud Cauley. The bucket failed. Oh, I don't remember. Henley, Hall, Norin, Poston, McCarty, Kevin Roy. That's a good lineup. Cantlay, Hall, Norin, Poston, Whaley, Hisatsune. That's a good lineup too. 10-9, 8-8, 7-6. Just forget it. You took too long to look at the chat. It was a timing thing. Okay. And your 5th lineup is also a really good lineup, Philip. We got McIntyre, Harry Hall, Norin, Poston, Yu, and Kanaya. Kevin Yu, be on the lookout. You might need to replace that if you choose this lineup. Who knows what he's doing from his... what do we call it? His withdrawal from last week. Okay. All right. So that was Philip Hall. Thank you, sir. John Bizzle will get you a lineup. Again, what I'll remind people is next week, I'm only going to build lineups for people with badges. And you only got to spend $199 a month to get a badge. Sammy V. Sammy V? I don't know who Sammy V is. Do I know who Sammy V is? Am I being stupid right now? I don't... Sammy Valimaki. I see. And Haotong. Okay. Going real weird with this approach, but I'm for it. See what happens. Ben Griffin, Sepp Straka, Jason Day, Ryan Gerard, Valimaki, and Haotong Lee. That's pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Ben Griffin, Straka, J-Day, Pearson Cootie. Love that. Valimaki and Haotong. That's pretty good, man. I like those lineups so far. Russell Henley, Straka, Kitayama, Gerard, Valimaki, and Haotong. I don't think we built that yet. No. Sorry, Byron. Jeez. Wow. I had Sammy Biscuits in my head, all right? I was like, are you sure you didn't mean Sammy B? Like, I don't know, whatever, dude. Whatever. Did we just do this one? Yes, we did. You just came in swinging, dude. Just came in swinging. McIntyre, Sepstraka, Kitayama, Day, Valimaki, Haotong. 998877. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Griffin, Straka, Fowler, you, Valimaki, and Haotong. And 98777. Maybe get you one more that's not a Kevin Yu lineup and just see. Okay, here's an interesting one. Griffin, McIntyre, Straka, Valimaki, Haotong, and Taylor Moore. Okay. I think I'm going to replace that previous one. This one. Kevin Yu. I'm not sure I'm liking that Kevin Yu is being spit out as much as he is. Let's just put him at... I'm going to bring him down to 5%. I personally don't trust Kevin Yu this week. I don't like anybody that... I'm not a huge fan of anybody that has withdrawn and then comes into the next week. I'm sure I could find the next event someone's played after a withdraw, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Ryan Henson, yes I am. Yes I am. Going on to the next person, and Mr. Marlowe, let me answer your question here after I pin this. Okay, Mr. Marlowe, you are right after Lombardi. And your question to me was, is it best to use our highest metric if I'm using just one lineup to, for work buddies? I will always say this. Mess around with it as much as possible. If you don't like the first lineup that's spit out and there's a golfer you just don't like, go cross them out. And you can cross them out with this lock column right here. If you just go in there and you just click yes or no, if you want to lock them out, you just put no. And that's kind of how I do. Like I will always, there'll be a time where I'm building lineups Wednesday night where I just need to build one more lineup for like a league, like a league contest or winner take all. That's only like for 100 people that are involved in that winner take all. And I just want to build my best lineup. Now, oftentimes I'll continue just to keep building and building and building. Like I just need one more lineup. It's not that I'm saving anything because this already has an automatic like kick out the lowest value guy. So I'll just continue building. But if I keep seeing like, let's say Haotong keeps showing up and it's like, dude, I don't want a Haotong lineup. I'll go out and lock him out. And then I'll go in and build a couple more. If another guy shows up that I don't like, I'll lock him out. And then I'll continue to do that same thing over and over. That's how I use it. That's also kind of like, that puts your biases into building lineups, and that might not be the best way to go about it. It's all up to you though. It's all whatever your tolerance is. Rose Gim and Smalley. Smalley's 72, right? Or was he 74? 74. And Douglas. Where is Doug Gim? There he is. 68. Ooh, that's a good 6K golfer. Okay. Here we go. I build you 5 lineups. Are you just looking for your personal preference? Yeah. And you just looking for... Yeah, Absolutely. Ben Griffin, Burns, Rose, Batia, Smalley, and Gim. So, Mr. Marlowe, if I was looking at this lineup, I'm like, this is perfect. I don't need to do anything else with this lineup. I love that lineup. So that would be good enough for me. This next lineup is exactly the same thing. Oh, interesting. I mean, and I don't hate it. If you were ever doing like a cascading method, this is kind of how those lineups would be built. It would look just like this. So Griffin, Henley, Day. We're getting a lot of Ben Griffin. How do we feel about that? That's 3 Ben Griffin lineups. Lombardi Lee, do you want more Ben Griffin lineups or should I kick him out? Good God, the optimizer's selecting him so often. Okay, no. We'll kick him out. I'm going to make the executive decision. And then we get a little bit more balance. We get Henley, McIntyre, Penrith, Rose, Smalley, and Gim. I'm going to make it choose a 10K golfer. This is the other thing too, Marlowe. Like I just, right there, I forced in a 10K golfer. I'm just like, I want at least one that's in this minimum column. And now we get Cantlay, Henley, Rose, Gerard. This is a great lineup. 10, 9, 3 7s, and a 6. I don't think the optimizer builds that lineup if I don't jam in a 10K golfer. Like I make it choose a 10K golfer. Like the optimizer on Excel is the tool inside Excel that runs the optimizer is called Solver. Solver is actually in most lineup generators. And all that Solver does is it just looks at the highest metric based off of the conditions that you make it, like you choose. Now, I've found some inefficiencies from the Solver. Like sometimes when I'm looking for the optimal lineup, after a tournament's done, I'll put in the points. And what I'll notice is if I click optimize and or I'm trying to do the sweet spot optimal, I click optimize and I'm like, oh, I don't know if it doesn't look right. Or maybe I accidentally click optimize a second time. That second lineup will actually have more points than the first lineup. And I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know if it's going through its checks and balances and it's like, oh, okay, well, the first one on the list has to be a last year 1. So if this was like, if this was set to 1, it looks okay. We gotta look for the last year 1, and then it pulls the best last year 1, and then that golfer goes on first, and then it goes through the next checks and balances, and then it's like, okay, we need a last year 6, and it finds the best last year 6 and puts it in a line, or maybe it just grabs samples and it just chooses that best lineup, whatever lineup that is, and then just puts it in there. But then if you were to create another lineup after that, then that one might be better just based off of the next checks and balances. Might grab a golfer that's more it offers more flexibility for the other buckets to be, to pick golfers from the other buckets. I don't know. The Solver just isn't perfect. I'll just say that. The Solver isn't perfect. It's so good. I should use that as my what do they call it? What do they call it? Shoot, I forget. Like a review. It's like, I used your optimizer last week, just clicked optimizer or optimize, didn't make any changes and played that lineup, and I got first place. Just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Yeah, you're doing it right. That's awesome. That's so good. Oh my God. Testimonials. That's what they're called. Testimonials. All right. Did I build all the lineups for you that I needed to? All right, Mr. Marlowe, welcome to the red tier. There we go. Insta sweet spot. Love that. Okay. I am going to Darbo. Is that your burner YouTube account? What, is there an Insta sweet spot? Or are you talking about Mr. Marlowe? Him giving me, dude, you're on something tonight. Just feisty with me. Just feisty. You know, next time you stream, I'm going to go into your stream and I'm just going to I'm going to get people to spam. You know I can do that too. You know I can get the people behind me. We're going to go in there and we're just going to put the puke emoji like just straight down. It's just going to blow up your chat. Just the puke emoji. Put little hands, like small hands Tom Kim, and just puke emojis all over the place. What you get, Byron. You've been helped. Just want to win my work league. I don't know much about golf, but I'm learning on the fly. There we go, man. There we go. I'm here to help. That's why I do these streams for as long as I do them. All right, next person, which is you, Mr. Marlowe. Let's go ahead and put you in your message to the top. Logan, you're on deck. Mr. Wheels Up. So Marlowe wants Straka, McIntyre, and Pendrith. Wow, Straka, Bobby Mac, and Pendrith. 89. This is going to be interesting. I think we're going to build some good or we'll have some decent lineups here. That's right, those puke emojis. Okay, here's a wonderful thing, Mr. Marlowe. You are actually, you know what? My bad. This is another helpful tip. These little indications here mean we broke something. The optimizer isn't happy with us and it couldn't choose that 6 golfer. I forgot that I have this filter in here, so I just have to click 0 and this should fix it. Super. And here we go. So the first lineup is McIntyre, Straka, Pendrith, Kitayama, Roy, and Lee Hodges. Play that lineup. I kid you not. Just play that lineup. In your work league, that's a great lineup. I'm a huge fan of Lee Hodges this week. This is to me, a bit riskier, but maybe a little bit more upside. You don't have to drop down into the 6K range if you don't want to. McIntyre, Straka, Pendrith, Day, Berger, and Hubbard. That one's fine. Ooh, I like this lineup. McIntyre, Straka, Pendrith, Berger, Denny McCarthy, and Vince Whaley. I do think Denny, if there was a tournament for Denny to win, this could be one of his best opportunities. I don't know if it's this year, but this type of golf course is what Denny McCarthy needs. McIntyre, Straka, Pendrith, Ricky Fowler, Sam Stevens, and Billy Horschel. I'm a little worried about Billy Horschel. Does anybody else share that sentiment in the chat? Does anybody else worry about Billy Ho? Like, I don't know. I was really gung-ho to play Billy Ho last week, but he sucked. And I don't know if that was the wind or not. What's going on, Jim? Nice to see you, man. I don't know. Did we just save that one? We did not. Okay. One more for you, Mr. Marlowe. We get McIntyre, Straka, Pendrith, Denny McCarthy yet again, Michael Kim, don't hate that, and Jacob Bridgman. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Jacob Bridgman was the guy in the optimal last week, wasn't he? Pretty sure he was. All right, those were your 5, Mr. Marlowe. Thank you. I will send you the optimizer once you request it, and I am not streaming. So if you've already done that, I will get to it after I'm done streaming. All right, Mr. Wheels Up. Here we go. Byron, the reason I'm worried has to do with the fact that I thought he was ready. I thought he was ready to go. He'd been playing TGL. He'd been talking up, playing a ton of tournaments. I thought he was ready. And like, he didn't just miss the cut by 1. He just looked awful. All right, man. Awesome. Has Bud Colley been in any lineups? Yes, he has, Jim Lemoyne. He's like probably the 2nd or 3rd best ranked 6K golfer that I have. I'm pretty sure. But the percentages that I have down here are pretty low. So where's your boy? I forget. 6,700, right? Bud Colley? Yeah. So he'll probably come up in one of the next lineups. So Logan wants a stud and then 2 cheap guys. You heard of the Sudashan Yelamaraju guy from Pat Mayo, didn't you? Be honest. Be honest. I know you did. I know you did. Oh, him and who? Jack. Oh, yeah. Duh. Jackson Suber. Super. Don't remember the price of Suber. All right. Logan, best of luck, man. We get Griffin, Burns, Henley, Gerard, Suber, Yelamaraju. Okay. Griffin, Burns, Hall, Kevin, you. Okay. We're just going to continue these 3. Griffin, Burns, Hall, Batia. Let's put a Scotty lineup in there, can we? I think we can. I'm forcing Scotty for you. Nope, can't do it. How about a Cantlay lineup? Can we do Cantlay? Cantlay, Burns, Harry Hall, Nick Taylor, Suber, Yelamaraju. And how about a Luddy Duddy? We've had 0 Ludwig. Ludwig, Burns, Henley, Michael Kim. Yeah, that's a great lineup. All right. I don't know if you wanted me to do that, but those seemed pretty good at the end there when I forced. See, that's the other thing, Mr. Marlowe. Forcing some of these 10Ks have built these great lineups that I don't think it would have anyways. It would just continue to pick Ben Griffin. Yeah, Ben Griffin is the best value I think I have. 9K and above. Henley is a close second, for sure. Oh, maybe Bobby Mack. Those guys are pretty good. Okay, never mind. Okay. So that were Logan's lineups. I have a Cantlay lineup with those 3. There we go. Oh, Logan, I just saw your message that says that would help your SEO, I think. All right. I'm scrolling. Ryan Henson, you're the next person for lineups? Am I missing anybody? I hope not. Okay, so Ryan, do I have anyone after Ryan? I don't. So I'd have Ben over Pat? No, I wouldn't. Actually, I'd like Cantlay a lot this week. Preseason, that podcast that Byron and I did, I said I think Xander wins the American Express. Xander's not here. I don't know why Xander's not here. But yeah, obviously he's not going to win the American Express, so I was wrong about that. All right, Ryan Henson. Hey, man. How'd your lineups do last week? You took down the Minimax one time at the Sony, didn't you? Was that 2 years ago now? Griffin Burns. Griffin Burns. Bridgman Burger. Oh, you got some alliteration there. That has to give you like an additional 100 points to your lineup for sure. Oh, I need Bridgman, not Burger. Burgers are on my mind, man. Okay. Can we get game check? Is the Sweet Spot Society playing 150, 23 max or single entry? Ooh. I didn't do real well, but okay. Okay. Did okay though. Well, Mr. Henson, why are we failing? Oh, we have 3 last year 2s. Hold on, let me look. Let me look. We might not have to change much. Last year 2s. It's not a very good projection. We've seen up to 3, and we've seen, but we've only seen a max of 2 in the optimal lineup. You know, Ryan, you've been following the channel for a long time. I'm gonna give you the executive decision here. Do you want me to remove one of those last year 2s, or do you want me to change the conditional to be 3? Your last year 2s consist of Burns, Berger, Bridgman. We can replace one of them, or we can get rid of one, or I can change the drop one guy. Does it matter which one? You know what? Hey, I got an idea. Just wait. I got an idea. We don't have to drop anybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these guys in the AM bucket. And this is a great way if Mr. Marlowe's here to see how to use the optimizer in a different way. So I am going to do this. I'm going to put each one of these guys in the AM time. Now, I have all of these down by PM because there's no weather, or there's no wave. There's no tee time wave. Everyone is going out in like 2 hour, like it's a 2 hour, 3 hour block, and they're all just going out on the golf course. So there's no morning and there's no afternoon. So I have everyone under PM. But what I can do here for AM is I can make it choose 3 golfers at all times. So it's, you want me to, Ryan, do you want me to do this way, or do you want me to actually just drop Burns? Because this way it's going to still offer a little bit of randomness to it. I don't know if we're going to get the same guys all the time. I'm going to leave it up to you. These are your lineups. I can either drop Burns, or I can do this, make sure it selects 3 guys out of the 4 guys you gave me. I can do it this way? Okay. Let's see what happens, man. Maybe Burns won't be selected that often. I mean, Ben Griffin is going to be selected quite a bit, though. I know that for sure. Okay, let's do 5. Griffin, Burns, Noren, Berger, Brennan, Bud Cauley. I like that lineup a lot. I'm going to let you save it on your end, but I'm going to kick out Bud Cauley just to offer a little different. I just want to see a little bit more randomness. Like this. This is perfect. Griffin, Henley, Day, Berger, Bridgman, Brennan. So, essentially Burns got dropped in that lineup. So that's perfect. That was wonderful. And then it breaks. Is it ownership related, I wonder? Not ownership related there. It is here. So I think this is okay. This is the thing that I need to. And then Bridgman got kicked out. So I will have to watch out for Bridgman. And Burnsy is fine. Okay. Griffin, Henley, Berger, Nick Taylor, Bridgman, and Matthew McCarty. That's not terrible. Again, Burns got booted out. Burns not being selected at all. Griffin, Penrith, Day, Berger, Gerard, Bridgman. Okay. It's going to break. It did not break, but I don't know if you want Kensai Harada. Probably not. This is fine. Griffin, Burns, Day, Berger, McCarthy, Taylor, Moore. Griffin, Burns, Batia, Berger, Whaley, Roy. Okay, that's a great lineup. So if you wanted Burns. That's perfect. Lovely. Oh, I forgot to make a space between the other one. Ah. Okay, cool. Dude, Jim, I literally messaged Byron. Or what did I say to Byron? I'm gonna pull it up. I go, Jesus effing Christ. Kenny Kim talking about fellatio. Good for you, brother, but I don't need to hear that. Your face during that conversation is exactly the face I made, because I was just like, I don't need to hear that either. And then Byron goes, I don't even know what fellatio is. So I clipped. I looked it up. And then I just screen grabbed what Google showed me and just sent it to him. Sorry, Byron, that was too good not to share. That was too good not to share. That, yeah. That's good. Do we have any other lineups? Am I, did I miss anybody? Last call, I suppose. A low light in our friendship. You talking about our friendship or you and Kenny's friendship? Oh. Have I done your guys? Oh, shoot. Where were your guys? Oh, you did them all funky. No, I did not, Byron. My bad. Here we go. We got one. Got you. I got you. I'm going to keep it like this, how you had it. Henley. Straka. Sepp Straka and Rose. Every rose has a thorn, has its thorn. Let me give you back Bud Colley, because I think Colley in one of these lineups is going to be good. Russell Rose and Blades Brown. Let me build this one for you first. It breaks. Oh, the AM thing. I'm sorry. Hold on. My bad. 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 See, I thought whenever Byron comes in here and he builds lineups, it always breaks. But that was my bad. That was a me thing. Yeah. So a lineup like this, Byron, looks super good. Henley, Straka, Norin, Rose, Berger, and Bud Colley. Dude, that's such a sexy lineup. That is a very sexy lineup. I knew having Bud Colley with those three guys that you locked in, those look good. This is another good lineup, by the way. Henley, Straka, Norin. Okay, so you're getting a lot of Norin and Berger. Rose, Berger, and Hodges. But that's another good lineup, dude. That's another good lineup. Henley, Straka, Fowler, Day, Rose, and Horschel. Okay, so we get Berger out of the way and we get Norin out of the way, but we add Ricky, J-Day, and Billy Ho. It's actually kind of serendipitous that you got Billy Ho after me complaining about not really feeling good about it. This lineup is sexy as hell. I'm a big Kanaya fan. Like, he helped me win some money over the fall, and I think I feel indebted to him. Just give him his worth. Give him his due. But you get Max Grazerman, or Greaserman as you like to call him. I do like Norin. I don't know how you feel about Norin. Maybe you like him, maybe you don't. That's like so 2010. Ooh. That's a good lineup right there. Henley, Straka, Rose, Berger, Pearson Cootie, Ryan Gerard. That's a great lineup. Those were good. Okay. I'm kind of interested what you said before. Russell, Rose, and no. Do that one. Russell, Rose, and Brown. I'm just gonna build you maybe 3, but most likely just 2 with this one. Russell, Rose. Oh, do you want Dan Brown? Not Blades Brown. Dan Brown, right? Can you let me screen grab them? Yep. Yeah. Here. I'll let you do this now. Was it yeah, there are these lineups right here, Byron. Was it Blades Brown or Dan Brown? Which Brown did Daniel Brown? Okay. All right, screen grab that. That should be enough. This is YouTube, so you can always go backwards. You can always go backwards. Yeah, Daniel Brown probably should get a little bit of a boost. Let's give him 300 points. Daniel Brown is model popping. Not for me. Not for me. Henley, Hall, Norin, Rose, Michael Kim, Daniel Brown. I imagine you don't like Norin, right? Oh, you love Norin. Okay, I didn't see that. Love Norin. Then there we go. Henley, Hall, Fowler. You know, I don't know how I feel about Ricky Fowler. He's played well here before when we all thought he wasn't going to. Whatever. I'm not a huge fan, but whatever. Ben Griffin, Henley, Day, Rose, Kim, Dan Brown. That one's a good one. Retail Ripper, what's going on, man? I love anyone that used a Bridgestone Velo Surge golf ball this weekend. That's a random comment. Who used one of those golf balls? You tell me. Henley English. That's the first Harris English lineup. Yep. Alex Norin, Justin Rose, Danny Berger, and Danny Brown. Ooh, a little Nick Taylor love here. Here's a different lineup, Byron. Henley, McIntyre, Kitayama, Rose, Taylor, and Dan Brown. And Uno Mas. Oh, got her up. Gotcha. There we go. Henley, McIntyre, Kitayama, Rose. We already did that one. How about I kick out McIntyre? You know, oh my God. I so desperately... Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, Byron. I'm going to make this choose a 10K golfer. And it's not going to be Ben Griffin. This is a lineup perfect for you. Honestly. Cantley, Henley, Harry Hall, Rose, Brown, and the Seagull. Charlie Hoffman. Not going to save it because I don't really like it. Putnam. Who said Putnam? Jim Lemoyne. Jim, I actually did speak of Putnam earlier on. I think I went through the 6K golfers. I don't remember when, but I did mention Putnam being a decent 6K golfer. Hanley, Henley, English. I don't like English though. I'm cool with Putnam. I just don't want English. That's just how it's got to be though, right? Because if we're locking in, I mean, it's got some wiggle room. We could get an 8K golfer in there, right? Penrith, Norin. Oh, Norin's over. Hold on. If I push Norin to 26%, I bring back Putnam. Do we get Putnam with Norin? No, we still get English. English is a stinky, smelly man. Cantley, Henley, Rose, Nick Taylor, Michael Kim, Daniel Brown. Okay, cool. That was a nice little 5 lineups there. Alrighty. I'm gonna say I'm a hard out at 11. I'm probably gonna be a hard out at 11 for the foreseeable future. I think that's a good time to be done by. Harry Hall, Kuchar, Day, Kitayama, and Takumi Kanai are all using the Velo Surge this weekend. He's getting a lot of buzz with the Inside Golf Network guys. Who is? Daniel? Is it Daniel Brown? I can't watch Inside Golf Network. Can't do it. There's that. Andy's got a voice only a mother can love. And I don't care for the other guys either. I really don't. Retail Ripper. You know what? Let's put that. I'm gonna build like 1 or 2 lineups with those guys in there. Harry Hall, Kuchar, Day, Kurt, Day, Hall, Kuchar, Day, Kurt. I need to find Kuchar. Hooch. Anaya. That's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Let's see, can we build a lineup? Nope, we cannot. Oh, that's because I'm forcing a 10K. Let's try it again. Still breaks. Well, I'm going to do the same method that I did with Ryan. And change these all to AMs. And make sure I choose 4 of them at least. Darbo, do you reset your constraints when making lineups for multiple people? Do I reset my constraints? Like between each time I build lineups with people? I try to, if I remember. If I don't remember, then I'm not sure. Tough part is that some play SC to start. Yeah, Retail Ripper. I think what we've seen at this tournament every single year is the prime golfers. Actually, I did this a long time ago. I had this strength of field. I was just looking at this because this was one of those, like, everybody was talking about how La Quinta provides the most top 10 or most successful golfers come from La Quinta or the Nicklaus tournament course. I don't have 2024 or 2025 in here because it kind of made my point back in 2023 or 2024. I mentioned all this in 2024. It's like the top 10 finishers. These are the top 10 finishers you have for each event. And then how many of these golfers were inside the top 5 that were, or top 50 of the OWGR that were also inside the top 10? And then how many total top 50 are of the OWGR in the field? So in 2023, at La Quinta, you had 8 golfers inside the top 50 of the OWGR. 6 of them finished inside the top 10, and those were your 6. Then you had 5 at the Nicholas Tournament course, 4 finished inside the top 10, and whatever. And then you had only 4 at the Stadium course. But if you look throughout all of this, you aren't going to see a lot of high-end golfers from the Stadium course where the numbers mattered. Like in 2021, you only had 2 courses. The Nicholas Tournament and the Stadium course. That was COVID. And total OWGR, you had 7 and 4, which those 4 actually didn't even finish inside the top 10. You actually had 6 from the Nicholas Tournament course, 5 from the Stadium course, and of those 5, 2 were inside the OWGR. So how they do it for TV is they will always start the best golfers at La Quinta. Always. They've done it for forever. They start them at La Quinta, then they go to Nicholas Tournament, and then they go to the Stadium course, and then they get to play the Stadium course a second time. It's almost like an agreement to have the best golfers come over and play. It's like, this is what you got to do, or this is what we're going to do for you to come play our tournament. So we're going to get you to do the best possible. We're going to give you the best possible start we can in order for you to succeed. And they want them to succeed in order to, you know, show up on the, or to be there Saturday and Sunday for the TV ratings to be good, for the ticket sales to be good. So like it's a no-brainer. 2022 was kind of a weird year where you had a bunch of golfers in the top 50 of the OWGR, and none of them finished inside the top 10. And it was pretty spaced out, 4-4-2. And this year's no different, by the way. All your best golfers pretty much are at La Quinta. Burns, Straka, Scotty and Rose, Henley, Batia, Ludwig. You know, like Cantlay and Ben Griffin, for whatever reason, didn't get to go to La Quinta. Yeah, you're going to get most of your scrubs playing the Stadium course first. Anywho's. So Jim said yes to the question I asked him. I try. Like I said, I try to reset those constraints. Sometimes I forget. And then I don't realize it. I think there's been, if I'm being honest about this, probably over the 120 times I've done this, because I think I've done this for 3 years in a row, and that's 40 tournaments for each year. So the 120 streams that I've done where I've built lineups for people, I've probably, when I'm done with the stream, realized that the constraints are really weird based off of the last couple people that I built lineups for. It's only happened maybe 2 or 3 times. So a lot of times I do reset the constraints, and then everything is good, but sometimes I forget. The optimizer I send to people is a different copy than this optimizer. This optimizer is my personal optimizer that I build my lineups with. I just do your lineups first, and then I just kind of move on from there. Here's 4 golfers that have the Bridgestone golf ball, if you want to play them. This is that Surge, or that Velo Surge ball that you're talking about. Velo Surge, yeah. 4 of them. Can't put 5 together, but there's 4 in a decent lineup. All right, guys. Anything left? I'll put the 3-minute timer on the screen. Actually switch to that. Have that pop up. Get your last questions in. I put this on X top 10 percentage based on course rotation at the American Express. Last 4 years, La Quinta, Nicklaus Tournament 60%, Nicklaus Tournament La Quinta 33%, and Itai Stadium La Quinta 7%. 3 golfers in the last 4 years have top 10 starting at P-Dye. Okay. All Morales, or is that Ollie? Ollie Morales, I am new to your channel. What's your lineup builder price? Looking for a golf lineup builder. Honestly, at the current moment, yeah, that's right. Byron comes in free. Yeah. If you want my optimizer, you need to have the full version of Excel. So it's not technically free. But go to the homepage, SweetSpotDFS.com. There's a link down in the description. Go to Fantasy Tools, drill down on Optimizer. This will bring you to the Optimizer page, which a pop-up will appear. And then you just enter your email. My internet must be slow. Yeah, there we go. There's the Optimizer. Enter your email here, hit request now. I get an email that tells me I need to send the optimizer to you. So, once I see your email, it requires me to see it with my eyes. I will send you one, but I don't have an automated. I don't have an automated service that does that for me. Hartman, what's up, man? I'm at the end of my stream. Hopefully you can join me tomorrow. I'll build you some lineups tomorrow if you want me to, Hartman. Yes, Byron. I got lots of good tools on my website. Lots of good ones. These are all things you can get on my website. Am I dabbling on the underdog drafts? Not the weekly ones, not yet at least. I'm like, I don't have a lot of time on my hands, and I'm a little bit behind on building the tools that I wanted to before the season started. I also have videos that I need to edit that I haven't gotten to, so I don't have a lot of time on my hands. How do I feel about Podgator? Love him, dude. I'm surprised he didn't show up in some of the lineups that I built tonight, but I definitely want to put him in my lineups this week. One Scotty and 3 Max. 0 in single entry. He can't putt. If you build a lineup, can you do 50 at a time and export to DraftKings? Yeah. Okay, so probably you're gonna have to be like very what's the word I'm looking for? You're gonna have to be very flexible with your ownership. So like, this is exposure. Like, how much exposure do you want of the golfers? So if you have it strict, even to this level that I have here, if you hit run and save 50 lineups, it's gonna error out somewhere in there. Because every lineup, this little N right here, this means no. So basically, whenever you hit run optimizer, this lineup will appear, and then it will then look to see what the lowest metric is and put a no next to this. And then it copies that no and it brings it over to that golfer. So, you know, certain golfers are going to get kicked out, and then there's just not enough combinations of lineups that you can actually build with all those no's being in place. So personally, I'd run and save 10 lineups, go in and see where all the no's are located, and maybe delete some of them. If you don't like them, and it's easy to delete, you can just highlight over it, delete. Or if it's a no, you can go into here and hit the empty space. There's an empty space option that you can choose, or a blank, I should say, and then that gets rid of that no. So, but if you did run in 50, if you run in say 50 lineups, the way that I currently have it built, you probably can't. That button's been on there since forever, and I added that function of removing the lowest metric golfer after I did the run and save 50 lineup builds. But yeah. Yeah, the price is too high for me as well for Scotty. I do like Scotty, and I'm still gonna put him in a few of my lineups. I build a ton of lineups. I build over 100 lineups, so in my 100, I think I'm probably gonna own Scotty in 20% of them, if I'm being honest with you guys. I feel like that's a good number. I think somewhere between 14% to 20% in 100 lineups is a good number to have Scotty. And then like, I'm just gonna build my best lineups I can with Scotty. Hartman says I'll probably just watch it back. I don't play a ton of DK style anyway. I'm just enjoying learning more about golf. Cool. Awesome, dude. Darrow's focus on DFS betting wise. My long shot is Bud Colley at 150 to 1 and top 20 at 2 to 1. Is that, or that's all that you get for a top 20 for Bud Colley is 2 to 1? Like, is that good? I feel like it should be like 5 to 1. Top 40 at 2. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I like that, Jim. I mean, Bud Colley has some good course history here. He's got a lot of top 10 finishes. Like this little tool that I have yet to put out there. I mean, who just came here that was asking for stuff? Ali Morales or Ollie Morales. This is going to be a tool that's going to be out there eventually. I obviously have to polish it up a little bit. But Bud Colley right here. Course history 34, tournament history really, 34.57, a 4th place finish in 2020. 2018, 14th, 3rd place in 2017, 14th place in 2016. Missed cut in 2014 and 2019, and then a 37th place finish in 2013. I like Bud Colley a lot this week, and he's probably going to be in a lot of my Scotty Scheffler lineups, if I'm being honest. He has some good top 40 rates as well. Nice. Love it. I could do it, but it'd take Suber and Brown and Bud Colley. All right, guys. I think I am going to call it a night. Got Scotty lineups built, but they are wild. Basically a donation. Maybe they won't be. You never know. You never know. But yeah, I gotta call it a night. I appreciate everybody being here, and I will be live tomorrow night for white tier members and above. How many likes did we get? Did we get to 25 likes? Because I will give out some memberships if we did. $18 likes. Damn. Anybody in the chat right now that hasn't given a like? If you can get it to 20, I'll give out 5. $19 on your screen. Hasn't updated for me yet. Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate you all being here, like I said before, and shoot, I hope we all win some good money. Let's keep the I mean, I'm on a winning streak already, so let's keep that up, and hopefully it's target the optimal this week, baby. All right, guys, I will see you all later. Thank you all for watching.